I am here to present to you VESL GG as we come into the showcase. It's week 3, and of course, Rocket League is hot online. I'm Hail Monkey Man in the booth alongside one of the greatest voices that could ever grace your eardrums. It is, in fact, Septilence coming at you live, loud, and proud to present the student athletes of talent that we have on tonight. Septilence, it is a funky, fresh Friday. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited. We had a couple of games that we're going to be jumping into today. Rocket League, of course, that's what the showcase is about every single week. I was here last week, had an opportunity to see several great teams. We had a lot of games last week, and some of those teams even coming back playing again this week. So we're very excited to see if anybody's made some improvements, if any rosters have changed, and if anybody who maybe lost their game last week can step up their game, or the winners from last week, will they continue to reap those rewards, Monkey Man? I'm unbelievably eager to find out.
It's one of those last moments, too, to step up or step out of the way, because there is momentum to be gained, especially as we now are in this third week, and then we move into conference playoffs going into the next. So everyone working towards those regionals. We're going to have all of a singular weekend of a break, and then we start breaking through. We're going to have 4 big matches coming at you, 4 best of 5s, and then we actually have a STEM showcase that comes into it, which, I'm here for the science, I'm here for the tech, but we're also going to see the techs and the mechs here in our first matchup. It's set to be a banger.
Yeah, we're going to have a good matchup coming in just a moment here. As Hail Monkey Man mentioned, we have 4 best of 5 series today. So these could go to the full game 5. These could go to just game 3. We could be out of here in 90 minutes. Really, anything could happen if you let it. But overall, these teams are going to be coming to the table here. I believe our first couple of teams I have not had the opportunity to see yet. I think we saw Havelock last week, but Dixon, I don't believe we've seen on stream yet.
Yeah, Dixon is going to be kind of that fresh flavor, a bit of flourish. And of course, if there's ever a time to really head up against the state runner-up in Havelock, I'd say this is kind of a big measuring stick to really say, hey, you know what? We are, in fact, here, and we want to make a claim to the top of the throne. Yeah. But it is, in fact, Havelock themselves that they want to throw down. They want to throw some monkey wrench into everyone's plans. We go into game number 1.
Yeah, Havelock, you've got to wonder if they have this on lock, if this team can come out and find an early victory. Like you said, a runner-up is not somewhere you get on accident, right? That second place position is not an easy one to find, and we're looking to see if these teams can punch to the caliber that teams like Havelock bring to the table. Dixon, no ball control early. Havelock, a great pass in towards center field. Dixon shot on goal, falls just a little bit short, and ball control right back into the hands of Dixon. Secondary attempt comes through, but the goalie just not able to make it, and Dixon with the first point on board just 27 seconds into game number 1.
That's a ton of extra pressure. And of course, in game ones of BO5s can just be about who's ready right now versus who's going to be ready for the entirety of the series. A great second effort there by Nason, who was able to find just a touch dunk after it was a look for the defenders to start rotating away out of the Rams at half lock as they're in their back half. Really have been able to get over that midfield line. It's been all of a half minute, but now they're looking for some of these passes, but still they're being sniffed out.
Not even a minute off the clock already, and Dixon, they've done a really good job establishing that dominance here. They wanted to find that first goal. It really puts them into a comfortable position. For game one in particular, you want to see that kind of action come through. A team that takes an advantage could often be showing us what could be down the future line here, and it looks like Dixon is going to find a second goal. Nason once again, oh my goodness, excuse me, that player to find 2 goals on the board here and put Dixon in a very comfortable position for the latter half of game one.
They were able to find a wonderful in-stride hook shot, as well as Shalotis was trying to go out for corner boost, and they saw all of a gap being comprised into that back third. And when we really kind of expand into what VESL has been looking at, we've gone into, what, 10 or 11 separate conferences, and this one having some of the 2 most powerful teams in a Shalotis, they will clap back and they will snap this lead in half.
Immediately going to be down to that 2 on the board, cut into the 1, as you mentioned, and Havelock Shalotis in particular able to find that separation. Now that's the difficulty of a game like Rocket League, right? Being up by 2 isn't necessarily as impactful as it may seem in a different series or in a different game, different esports, but here in Rocket League, those 2 points, it's just a safety net, if anything, because now Havelock is a single goal away from being able to tie things up. They go for a shot early. It's going to be, I believe, Zoils who gets out of the way there, keeps it into that back third, and once again, Havelock's second attempt is also going to fall just a wee bit short. Dixon stuck into a hard defense. Nothing to come from it quite yet.
Ooh. But that's a soft touch, and that's actually one that could have been punished by Shalotis if they decided to step up, but they decidedly were being much more conservative. They're playing to that mid to back third instead, and this allows Dixon to really now work their way through. And you look at how now Havelock is trying to play for some level of control. They don't want to give away this possession. Chicken hanging out in that corner. We haven't really called out Chicken's name. They will get this touch out here, but it has to work much more laterally than where Havelock wants to go. They're trying to escape the stripes. That's going to be a good pickup by Genki.
Nason has an opportunity to get out of the back third here, going to a hard defense through center field. We're getting ready to approach that halftime marker, and Dixon, 1 more goal on the board could really set a precedent going into the latter half of the series, just putting themselves back up by 2, kind of reinstalling that safety net. And I'm waiting to see if they're able to find some action center field. It feels a lot of, I'm going to drive it down toward home, and if it gets knocked away, well, let's go immediately into the defense. Dixon feels very, dare I say, opportunistic rather than proactive. This is something that can come to bite them in the butt against a team like Havelock later down the line. But as of right now, all signs seem to point to success. So if Dixon can keep up the play style we're seeing thus far, a victory in game number 1 could easily be theirs.
And the reason they're playing a little bit more reactive is because they do at least have this lead. They've been able to get those first 2 goals, and they haven't built further upon it after Havelock at least got that 1 counterattack in response. And there's been not mishandling, but maybe not the most wise handling, as this one has been crawling over the Havelock front box. And at 2 minutes remaining, now looking for a flip reset. That ends up being a passing play. It's going to very favorably for Havelock go off the near side post, but the crunch, the save! What a massive pickup by Chicken, and that gets Rams out of Havelock out of harm's way.
100 seconds left on the clock here. Dixon is going to be trying to find an opportunity to strike. Zoil sends it into center field, and it's going to be knocked away up above the crossbar, but nobody's home. A demolition onto Nason. Chicken goes out as well. We're into a 2v2 for a brief 4 seconds. 90 seconds remaining here, and Shalotis is going to go for an opportunity from center field. Tries to get out of goal. A knockward hit away from the side of Dixon is going to keep things alive. Shalotis trying to be the hero. Pass back up into Havelock. This could be a goal here.
They were looking for it, and they've just been sending one after the other. It's been just kind of a cruise line. You get a big demo just like we see right now. But Khan, no one immediately in that punishable atmosphere just around them, and you actually see a lack of boost. You have all of Chicken that's really got the majority of it, and they go flinging past a midfield contention held by Dixon. We had 3 goals in about 1 minute and 3 seconds to start this game, and for the last 3 minutes, there has been nada, zilch. And Dixon, they know it. They have been simply holding it down from their back third, less than a minute to go. You have to get something started here from this front side third if you are Havelock, but they send two into the same exact zone, and it's taking too long to develop that next shot.
It's actually been a long time since I've seen a team kind of keep things this close as early as a game one. This feels very, game 3, game 4 territory with both these teams really coming out in full stride, just looking for that opportunity to strike, to be the power players that this team needs. With only 30 seconds left on the clock, there's a very real chance that Dixon may be able to sneak out a game 1 victory, which obviously would put them 2 games away from being able to emerge victorious. We're down to 20 seconds and counting already. Can Dixon clutch things out?
With 15 to go, Gengi has to get at least some value here and looking for a bump, looking for anything to just kind of pick up into a possession. We slow it down, and even when they're getting caught up on top of each other, those 2 goals found by Nason actually will surely stand. 1 extra challenge, Chicken with a putback, and even with Gengi falling off the near side post, Dixon, they did the work early. They found 2 goals in the first minute of play. It was Nason that was good for 2 for 5, and then found 2 saves as well. And no matter what Havelock knocked at the door with here, it just never was able to permeate into opportunities to get them tied up.
Yeah, no opportunities coming through for Havelock at the time, but Dixon, they do a really good job keeping the lead. Nason in particular, as you mentioned, 2 of both those goals found to a single player. So I think Nason really being that driving force. Hail Monkey Man, other than, the obvious of don't let Nason play the game, are there any kind of play style differences we want to be seeing from Havelock going into game number 2? This is a team that are no strangers to pressure of playing the game. So to see them lose like this is, dare I say, quite uncharacteristic.
But it's also game 1. I'd say that if you're going to be, if you're going to see some adaptation outside of game number 1 is always where it ends up coming, because the first game is just kind of your frosty, all right, who's ready to go first. The next one, it starts to become much more definition, a tone setting and trend setting into this series. And I just want to see not one-touch offenses out of Havelock. You got to find those secondary and tertiary motions to keep yourself rotating much more oppressively into your opponent's back half. And you can't let open possessions like that go off for free. Dixon nearly had a chance to punish, and they're going to be into this 2v2, happen way too often, but Havelock is at least finding these moments to look for these clears, and they double commit outside of it, working back to midfield.
Midfield has been, dare I say, pretty left alone for a bit here. It's been very your back third, our back third, your back third, our back third. We haven't been getting a lot of kind of pace of play toward that center field, so I think leaning into that a bit could maybe be beneficial for Havelock. Both goals from Dixon were very explosive, very reactive, very quick, so if Havelock separated themselves from their goal in distance, could it make the difference? And with Chicken able to find a strong defense, unfortunately, Zoils on that secondary attempt will knock it in, and that's going to be a great play from Dixon.
It really will be, and Nason was initially the one that started it off. Chicken has been caught in the coop, and they've been defensive if they can be, but they used it all, especially boost-wise, on that first attempt, and then it was just about finding the opening in that net. A great strike by Zoils, and that will be the first non-Nason goal here for Dixon. Gotta be wary, though, as they take some possession here into the orange stripes, and the one thing right now that I see lacking, that I want to see way more of, even if it's an expenditure of a couple of players, I need to see them crashing the box more often when Dixon is on this defensive handle.
3:45 remaining here. Dixon is going to look for a time to strike, but I don't know if they're going to be able to find anything early. That goal was, dare I say, a little bit lucky, but a lot of calculation behind it. They're not really getting the opportunity to play that same level of calculation. Havelock is forcing Dixon into a reactive play style, making it harder for this team to come through, but 90 seconds missing. Gangi could have a great shot into center, but the double defense from Dixon keeps him away. Another attempt from Havelock goes in, but it's going to be bounced up and out. The third man comes through, and it's just too far to the right. Nobody home.
That was one of the better ideas, and they just couldn't quite find the execution. But you're trying to get that in stride when you're working for it. Nearly the second minute. Burned off this clock. Oh, and that's a back pass, and that's Nason that nearly had a free chance. Gangi, that's going to go to the backboard, and they're kind of fortunate that there wasn't a greater pickup there by Khan. But Nason, again, immediately the tip of the spear for Dixon as the school continues to run it down. That's a massive demo. Zoils goes away. Chicken with a feed. Who's there for it? Shalotis is looking for boost instead, and Chicken's just trying to hold it down, sealing him down. But Gangi is, again, a step too far. Isolated 1v1. But it will fall wide in the putback shot tonight too.
Just that putback shot you think was going to be a freebie, but the defense is just exactly where it needs to be. Dixon keeping this a low-scoring affair if I have ever seen one, but Khan going to take that score, double it, and give it right back to his own team. Half the game remaining here, 2-0 on the board for Dixon, and the odds of victory in game number 2 have skyrocketed with only half the game remaining.
It's a little bit of a different affair, at least in terms of when the goals came, but it's still
Sure.
a 2-0 to get to that position. And if you are Havelock, you're starting to scratch your head and wonder what in the world is allowing them to just stay so defensive, and you're just not linking up the same way, nearly getting a third goal to really make it an almost unwinnable margin, even with just about 2 minutes and change to go. Game number 2 has now been a trend set by Dixon that their offense will really force Havelock to try and restart from their own back third, and their defense is just not giving anything away for free.
Wow.
Well, they make it a third.
I mean, I don't know about a con, but it feels like Dixon maybe getting just that. They are getting hustled out here. They are the hustlers out here. Havelock, the team that we expect to come in and statistically find an easy victory, going to be going down against Dixon early in game number 1, 2-1 victory. Now 3-0, staring down 2 minutes remaining. Things are definitely looking bleak for the side of Havelock in this second game, which obviously puts them on series point, and that in itself is a whole different problem to be worried about.
You love seeing kind of these conferences really learn about how they can take down some of the titans that we've now seen from not just conference play, but as well as states play. This is your runner-up for the fall. Havelock looking like a completely different machine, a lesser one at that, missing a few gears, whereas Dixon has really found some modem for success. This one's going to go back side wall. Shalotis with a shot, finally reminding this squad, these Rams, that they can actually score.
The score does come through here with 87 seconds remaining. So if we kick that up to 90, we're looking at 43, 45-ish seconds per goal from Havelock here, which is very, very achievable. The issue, however, being the strong defense of Dixon has been possibly their strongest app, tie things up, and then maybe in an overtime put themselves in the winning position. But Nason, a great pass up in the center field. It's going to be knocked away in front of goal, not once, not twice, but thrice before Gangi gets the opportunity to knock it away. Open goal on the side of Dixon. Defense is back online with 70 seconds left. Havelock needs to score now or never.
Dixon has some solid passing whenever
for real.
They have some very confident passing, especially because you have a 2-goal lead, you have a leniency of that 1 insurance goal, and Havelock hasn't even tried to do so. They've really kind of just shot from the outside perimeter, but they've not gone for some of those medium risk plays, and yet they don't need it now. Shalotis finds one from off angle. We are down to the wire and down to just 1 up.
This is going to be fascinating. We talk about Havelock. It was game number 1. The team needed a little bit of time to get warmed up, but by golly, hell, Monkey Man, have they found it. Going to be just 1 shy, but unfortunately, that's how game number 1 ended, that 2-1 victory. Are we going to be seeing a 3-2 victory to mirror that exact existence here? 45 seconds and counting, so Havelock need to score. They're desperately running out of time, almost as if the timer itself is a larger opponent here than Dixon, who Havelock is learning how to score on.
And they'll be able to get one in earnest, though. That's the problem right now. Shalotis, they get a demo into them, and this actually could be enough to reset Havelock, but it's a 2v1 on the opposite side of the pitch. Chicken has no extra boost. They end up finding one, and Shalotis has been the magic man. They take it all for themselves. It was a decoy to look at their teammate.
Wow.
Suddenly, we're tied at 3. What a comeback this is. They were down 3 at one point.
In less than an in-game minutes, we've seen Havelock score 3 goals. A game that we were getting ready to kind of write off in favor of Dixon. May go all the way down here to an overtime victory with only 9 seconds remaining. One of these teams has just those couple of seconds to score in regulation. We'll be getting our first overtime of the day.
Ooh, but one right on the ground. They do keep it up, trying to just get the kill onto it, and they're actually just going to let one drop into the stripes. A job well done at minimum. Just trying to not let this possible comeback run just eke out into a whimper. But we're in the opening kickoff shift right now here, Septilence and Khan. I mean, Dixon has seen their lead evaporate. This has got to be something that you have to stabilize just the entire team. It doesn't even matter when it comes down to gameplay. Just have fundamentals bring you back into just an even prominence, because you're seeing Havelock really come in for these better strikes.
30 seconds here in the overtime, and that clock continues to go up until somebody walks away with a victory. We're waiting to see, and that's got to be it. Shalotis able to find a beautiful shot from that center field area back into goal, and Havelock now walk away with their first game victory. They tie our series up 1-1.
That was a wild fastball, Lotus. I think that they found either nearly all or at least a hat trick of the 4 for the Rams. So Havelock, it looks like they were the have-nots for a while. And yes, all 4 goals of 7 shots spike through for Lotus. 4 attempted by Gangi, and that was some extended pressure. But look at what they did to Dixon. After they got those 3 initial goals there, Septilence, it was 6 saves, and they were just kind of stuck on their own back line, even after acquiring an early offense that was really relying on counterplaying. And you would think at the beginning of that game, all right, this is going to be a 2-0 series. Game 3 is going to be curtains for Havelock, but this is tied.
No, it's tied up 1-1 on the board here. So we've officially entered best of 3 territory. One of these teams only has to win 2 games to walk away with a victory. And I think Havelock, they show a lot of great signs of life in just that last in-game minute alone. The first 4, I'm going to be honest, were really slow. Were really lackluster. I was waiting to see if Havelock was going to wake up in time, and it took until just that very last minute before the team did just that. They've reset the scoreboard. They put us in a best of 3 scenario, and they found themselves a possibility to take the lead in this series, depending on how these next 5 minutes unravel.
All right, next 5. Let's see how this in game 3 goes, because Havelock just, the one thing that really needs to evolve for them, need to stop falling into these very detrimental holes. That's not something where you have to you don't want to be often told that this team plays very well from behind, because guess what? That means that you often are losing.
Yep.
That's not something that you want at all.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely one of those things you just, oh yeah, this team, they're really great at the comeback story, but it's like, why are you always stuck in the comeback story? You've got to take the lead at some point or another, and hopefully Havelock is going to be able to do that. This is a team, as I mentioned earlier, they are no strangers to that pressure. They have made it to a runner-up position, and they want to try and equalize or do better than that here this season. But Dixon, a team here in just week 3, really giving them a run for their money. Now, whether that's Havelock not being warmed up or Dixon just really starting to hit their stride, Havelock has to keep these changes improved if they want to go out and win the rest of this series, because there are a minimum of 2 games remaining.
Havelock has been the bridesmaid. They'd rather be the bride, wear the tiara themselves, and they know from recency that this is a painful place to be in. Dixon, though, is the challenger to the would-be runner-up. Khan, they find first purchase, a great challenge here, a nice pickup, and as Chicken tried to come over, Khan just made sure to follow up on their own initial touch. That's how you keep with the first play.
Gangi has an opportunity here to put Havelock in a good position, but it's going to be that aerial defense that gets in the way, gets for a separation. Chicken has to play an awkward blockade barrier bounce in the corner, but Nason is waiting for that time to strike like a Viper, goes in underneath, waits for the boost to run out. A beautiful coast-to-coast aerial play. Wow, incredible defensive disruption from, I don't even know which player from Havelock that was, but it does make a huge difference here in terms of momentum. What could have been a free goal for Dixon is going to be shaken up a bit. Lotus goes for an overhit out of center field to get away from that back third, and Havelock goes for a reset.
Lotus has been trusted with much of the offense, and Chicken has really been indicted with just finding versatility on the defense. Gangi's trying to really kind of filling in for Havelock as that glue. Whenever either of those players need to be able to go and get boost, they're finding the motions. They actually put in a threat nearby, and then Chicken wants to help them out. That's that has to be a highly communicated give up by Dixon, because they allow their second man to take it back. That's going to be a kick out, and then a big demo. Khan just kind of throws it into the zone between players. Dixon's still playing with all of a goal of advantage as we approach the midway mark here, Septilence, and Havelock. I mean, they're still taking their time. They've, again, fallen into a hole, but this one's not too deep.
Yeah, this one also feels a little more, I'm not going to say calculated. I don't think they're losing on purpose, but it feels a little more like they are playing with purpose, rather. This one goal isn't going to be making as big a difference as we saw in some of our earlier games here today. Dixon, though, with this lead, they've got 2 minutes left on the clock. We saw Havelock score a total of, 3 times in just under an in-game minute, so we know this team is more than capable of finding a level of success in the panic when they need to, and it looks like it's going to be a slow burn out from Gangi here. Nothing found quite yet. 2 minutes on the clock. Dixon looking for their second goal.
This has been a good collection, and something that's really been improved here for Havelock is whenever they're finding these rotations and these micro ball plays about when they're going to go for some of these big passes. 100 seconds approaching, and Zoils, now this is an individual play, getting the ceiling reset. They are knocked offline just a little bit, and that slight delay is able to provide just enough for the defense to take a fresh breath of air. But Chicken, as soon as they tried to get boost and then set up for that next play, they end up having to run away from it. That's a great setup over to Lotus from distance. distance, but Nason was at the right position at the right time, and Gangi will try to go for the second approach.
I've got to say the defense from Dixon is darn near flawless thus far. They've been doing such a good job of canceling out every approach that Havelock has brought to the table. And speaking of approaches from Havelock, Lotus is going to get knocked away toward that left side. The aerial play from Dixon keeps this team on top. It's been a low-scoring affair, but it's almost as if Dixon realizes that's all they really need is to keep that 1-point advantage with only 53 seconds left. They do not have to score anymore. They just have to make sure that Havelock doesn't.
Oh, but a nice pancake situation. Trying to add some extra syrup to make it extra zesty. That one's just gonna drop through. There was nothing that Zoils could do. Gangi ends up getting credit on this one. This one off of the touch, spike it over from corner, and then look at where Zoils is. They run it off. I think there was a lot of trust that a third was filling into that gap, but then it's equal but opposite from the initial score that happened in this game, but it was done this time by Gangi. They've been a little bit quiet, but then they find that variable, and now becomes a 2v1 of field. Dixon trying to immediately counterplay.
Ooh. Nason finds it beautifully. Dixon, that's going to be a great example of what I was just talking about earlier. You know, it feels like they're keeping this low scoring almost on purpose. They have their finger on the pulse of the game so aggressively that they win by 1. Oh, Havelock scores. Hey, let's dump in one more. They're able to take that lead. Once again, 32 seconds remaining, but Havelock, a team we have already seen today, come back from a deficit like this with just about the same amount of time on the clock. So I'm hopeful that Havelock may be able to tie us up.
There is the possibility. It's a thin percentage. It's thinning out as the seconds wear down. The probability is either a 1 or a 0 to that matter. And it's still at least up in the air. But with 10 seconds approaching, good connections by Dixon has really been to the crux and the fall of Havelock, trying to just pre-flip, see that challenge come through. That's going to go all the way down in distance, but no one's available to go and find it, so we play boomer ball. And now as it hangs high, Chicken trying to get it over to Shalotis. They do air it out. There is no boost for Gangi, and now there's about no time or availability for Havelock to get it upfield. Zoils will bring it to the ground, and that kill will put Dixon on to match point.
Match point just around the corner here. Dixon going to be up 2-1, both in game and now in series as well. I want to point out that Nason, if you had any two players together from the side of Havelock, Nason still almost outcompetes them. So it is a beautiful single player performance from Nason to take the lead, to find the necessary goal for victory, and to put the team into a very comfortable position. But Nason, of course, couldn't have done it without Khan and Zoils, who are bringing up the rear there. Havelock keeping it close, but unfortunately, close just ain't going to cut it.
And look where they really kind of put Shalotis. Shalotis does have 3 of the 7 shots for Havelock, but they end up having the only 2 saves. And there's that means that there was a lot of presence in the mid to upfield, because they did actually outshoot Dixon, but they suffered under the counterplay. That 2v1 really did just kind of mince them up in a bad position. So now Dixon, they close it out? Havelock, obviously, they've had the bounce back mentality, and they've always played from behind. Dixon has always scored first. If anything is going to change, it has to be off the rip going into game number 4, because otherwise Dixon should be able to close this one out. And when we found success here, Septilence, it's been in the name of Nason.
Without a doubt, Nason has been the goal getter and the trend setter here in this series. Havelock versus Dixon, but game 4 in a best of 5 series does open up now. And it's going to be Shalotis from Havelock with ball control, stolen away quick. Gangi has to play the defense and is able to do so in the blink of an eye. Beautiful pass into center field, but just shy to the right of the goal. Unfortunately, not going to score the points the team are looking for.
That's that little chip shot that's been hung up. Gangi was actually setting up yet another one as Shalotis got involved. That's a passing play. That's going to be denied. Another defensive stand. Dixon, you were talking about how just perfect their defense really has been. They had 6 saves compared to the 2 that Havelock had in game number 3. And that spelled I guess, ultimately the definition of what was missing for this squad, even if offensively they were pressing upfield. But Dixon, they play so well from their back third, moving on up, and they look like they're primed to score again. That's going to be a big clear. And Gangi, after they get involved, the third man gets deleted, and that means it's a free net for guess who?
A free net once again for Nason, who's just the top dog of Dixon thus far. Really waiting to see if the player can continue to bring this level of dominance to the field, or if we will get a bit of a learning curve from Havelock if they start going for demolitions, if they start aiming for boost rounds. I think all of that could be very, very beneficial for the team, as they are really scratching their heads at this point, trying to figure out, how do we stop this guy?
I don't know. Take away his controller, mouse and keyboard. I don't know.
Turn his monitor off.
It's the only way. If they have a prescription of glasses, make sure it's the wrong one. I don't. If they're nearsighted, make it farsighted. It's really looks like SpaghettiOs after you do that, by the way. But 80 seconds here in the game, and number 4. What a big bump. Nason was looking for opportunity, and Chicken on the reception. At least it moves into some greener grasses upfield. Gangy. Oh, that's actually a feed directly to Shalotis, who was in a very upfield spot. That's a free net until they fill the gap, and it's filled again. Khan, they had the demo on the first goal. This time they'll take this for themselves.
This is a huge opportunity. Khan putting Dixon in the lead 2-0. I believe since game 1 that we've seen a 2-point lead here for the side of Dixon. So it's been a while since they've taken a lead of this caliber, but a lead has been found regardless. And with, 80% of the game nearly left, there's a lot of time for Havelock to answer back. So scoring this early can absolutely be a double-edged sword.
There's a lot of time, and I often tell some folks that hang out with me, especially in like community leagues, holding on to a lead in Rocket League is very tough. And not just because of the mechs and not just because of the game overall, but also because of the mental. Because you're like, okay, we've done a lot of work, but it's not over. And that's in pretty much every type of traditional sport as well. Good challenge in less than 3 minutes to go. Nason is going to just bonk this one over, and it's going to force Chicken to have to ride high, and they do climb that ladder. They're going to have Shalotis in support, and this is a bit of a mix-up. It's a chaotic one with Shalotis on the finisher. Look how this was just a massive curvature between these two, communicating who would take this shot.
Yeah, look at that. Chicken had a great pass up. Chalotis barely just kisses it with that back end of the vehicle and is able to put it right into goal, cutting the lead in half once again. 2:44 on the clock. Havelock now down by 1. The possibility of winning unbelievably achievable if they're able to keep it up. But Dixon, I think this is going to light a fire underneath them like we have not seen thus far. They want to walk away with a win. Going into game 5 is terrifying because that would make it basically a best-of-1 series. And Dixon, if they want to walk away with a win over a team like Havelock, we knew they were going to have to work for it.
This is a team that went all the way to game number 6. They couldn't quite crest it over whenever they were in the fall state championships against Lincolnton. And of course, if you're going to have that gumption to take states by storm, actually lift that trophy, then you're going to have to go the distance. And Havelock has to prove that they've got that in them. Bit of a gut check. Gangy, they're not going to find the doink, but it was a great takeaway. Nason is just individually winning battles. And Khan, great filling the gap. But Shalotis finds a much better purchase. And it was on Zoils to actually find a better look, and actually that's a triple commit, but they're not able to take advantage of it, and yet they're still presenting themselves upfield.
Oh, Chalotis, beautiful performance there, taking the ball from coast to coast. The player just trying to do the most. With 108 seconds left on the clock here, we are looking to see if Havelock can take the lead, if they can force a game number 5. If we go all the way in our very first series of the day, wouldn't that be a treat to kick things off, folks?
It'd be a wild one. Game 5 could just be around the corner. Gangy looking all ready to find that leading score, but instead, the 100-second mark now will approach in full force. Dixon, they've seen their leads just get bled out. A 3-0 lead, a 2-0 lead, and now, as we are just dead even, Gangy is going to play Lurker here out in midfield as Shalotis has first looks, but then with Chicken on the retreat, they are having to force this one at an arc over their own net, giving both their teammates a chance to look upfield, and it becomes maybe a cherry pick situation, but instead it is being picked right between some Havelock players. Dixon is trying to finish this one in regulation. Look at how much pressure they're putting them under.
Yeah, they are really starting to push Havelock into the wall here. Insert garbage compactor closing around the team as they really just aren't sure which way to go and how to get out of this situation. But with a whopping 60 seconds left on the clock, another overtime could be possible. One of these teams just waiting for the time to strike. I'd honestly be shocked if we went to overtime, because these teams love to strike in the hottest of moments.
Oh, but look at this redirect angle. That's going to be a drop to the backboard. Nason, oh, they actually give it away. Khan with the follow-up, and they're just bouncing. No boost in the tank, and Gangan gets the save. Now moving it back upfield. Zoils, they want a second look. Some wall dashes to at least catch up to the moment, and Nason left on an island, but no player is an island all by themselves. themselves. Single touch on the follow. Chicken uses the rest of the boost. They'll steal off of this corner. You know, you said maybe we wouldn't have this one go OT, but with the way both these defenses are stepping up, it very well could go to that bonus moment. What a save! And a follow by Gangy!
There it is, baby. There it is. So we're not going to overtime, maybe, but we very well likely may be going to game 5 in just 15 seconds here. If Dixon is going to be able to clutch things out and force that overtime, that could be colossal. But I think Havelock just put themselves in a near perfect, near flawless, dare I say, position to put themselves into a winning cup here into game number 5. Put us back into a reset best of 1 scenario. We know this is a team that likes to take it the extra mile, and we're going to have to wait and see if they can take it. Well, they've already basically taken it that far, but now they have to win that 5th and final game.
Oh, just got to kill this one. Bring it to the ground. Gangy forces a couple of skirmishes. Hey, you know what? Take it off the 50-50 and now have luck. The only thing they have not done is score first, but they have definitely posted up 2 comeback wins. 1 on a 3-0 deficit, 1 on a 2-0 deficit, 6 shots for Shalotis. They are racking those up so quick. Of the 10 that Havelock accumulatively put together, Nason still have the most on their team, 4 of that 7 marker, but that was just a comeback moment for this Havelock Rams group. Septilence, do you bet on the hand that keeps coming back and playing for more in Havelock, or the one that continues to find first purchase with Dixon? Do they close it out?
I've got to be honest here, Monkey Man. I've been thinking about this. I really do not know who's going to walk away with a victory here, because Nason is doing darn near everything they're able to do as a player, but unfortunately just not able to find the appropriate lineup or the victory that they're looking for here against Havelock, who have really started to find those dismantling plays, those early goals, those cheeky shots and opportunities. Havelock is playing more patient, which can often be dangerous, but somehow they've been able to pull it off, and they're putting themselves in a possibly winning position. I think it just my general analysis of the game, I do believe that I'd give an edge to Havelock here for this 5th game.
It's like they say, play like you've been there before.
Yep.
Havelock obviously has been to the precipice of greatness, but they're trying to really put that extra gem into the old crown that they want to wear one day. Dixon, they've got the high-flying clips, and they've got manners to be able to punish this Rams group, but can they do it if Havelock is on the top of their game and doing it early? We get to see here in game number 5. You get a game 5 banger to start things off, folks. In the first half minute of play, Havelock has been just holding Dixon upfield.
This 5th game is where all the marbles are going to be worthwhile. One way or another, one of these teams will walk away victorious here in our first of 4 series of the day. We really are just taking our good old-fashioned time in this first series, but at least game 5 starts off strong. Shalotis puts themselves in a huge position to win, and now Havelock is going to be up 1-0. Only 44 seconds gone.
We are in uncharted waters, and that one could be just a little bit of a miscue on the defense of Dixon, as you had 2 of Zoils and Khan kind of caught up on top of each other, one on the pre-jump and one just not finding a great angle, working from outside the box. And Shalotis, the top scorer for the Rams out of Havelock, able to put them into that position to begin with. This first minute is the first time in this series that Havelock have in fact scored first, and Gangy finds the narrowest angle to make sure they keep that lead, but it was short-lived.
That lead, I mean, what was that? I don't even know how many seconds that was. 17 seconds, I think, with the lead. And now Dixon has been able to tie things back up in the blink of an eye. They're going to put us on that 1-1 scoreline, which I always love to say is basically just a complicated 0-0, because it's going to be whoever takes that lead next that puts themselves in a more comfortable position down the line. Looking into the lineup to see if Dixon can come out early, but it's going to be a demolition onto Gangy that gives Dixon a 3v2 opportunity for about 3.2-ish seconds, but no value off the back of it. A slow burn play. Another demolition onto Shalotis that time, and Nason will finally be able to bump that clean into goal. Dixon finding back-to-back goals in just under 20 in-game seconds.
You can't say Nason without saying ace. That's great setup, and of course a fantastic demo. I believe that was Zoils that just sold out to open up the gap, and then Khan that put it off the wall to just give it to their main striker of Dixon in Nason to be able to get it moving. So one good goal deserves 2 more on the other side. Yep. Havelock put into a pressure cooker here, Septilence, as they find that first goal. But this is, again, a completely different variation considering they did score first. Now did that put them in a bad, the incorrect mental state? They went from playing conservative into hyperactive, and now maybe that will punish them.
That hyperactive playstyle can be as beneficial as it can be punishing. So you really, as you mentioned, have to know when to hold them, when to fold them. Y'all know the rest from there. It's going to be a big opportunity to see if these teams can adapt in the moment. We've seen Havelock really kind of win that slow and steady wins the race situation, but that's not going to win them every game, especially if Dixon can come out swinging with the early lead and the early goals like we've seen already. A lot of versatility and even more possibility on the timeline, but with 2 minutes gone, Dixon up by 1. This game is not going to be over until that scoreline or until that timer hits 0. I truly cannot tell which way this is going to lead.
We've gotten theatrics all the way down to the 15-second mark. So Dixon, they know that their leads aren't exactly safe pretty much ever. Khan is going to find Nason tracking this one down, even with 0 boost. They're going to wall dash straight into it, which forces all 3 of Havelock to collectively stay in the exact same mid zone. Gangy gets challenged out, and that becomes a demo as they will hit the bench and then hit the reset marker. That's a nice takeaway, and you see how Gangy on the opposite end, that's flicked right over their heads. So more than midway through game number 5, Dixon seems to be in a modicum of control until this strike comes through, but Nason fends it off.
Nason is going to be able to fend things off early here. 2 minutes left on the clock, and Dixon puts themselves in a good position. The defense has been the name of the game thus far, and that could be an opportunity at goal, but Zoils is knocked out of the way. The goal is going to fall short, and there's no victory off the back of it. Chicken goes for an aerial play, gets taken down by Chalotis, and Dixon with 2 minutes left, still up by 1. Monkey Man, Havelock's got to make something happen.
They've got time. Remember, they scored 3 in less than a minute whenever they had it the last time around. They just have to be patient, but eventually patience has to be earnest effort. 100 seconds now. Dixon, they see at least Nason all the way upfield. He got the midfield boost, and Gangy is really suffering. It's a bit of awkward dribbling, and this has just been Khan running it down. That's where they've really found much of that success, just disrupting where Havelock wants to restart. Chalotis is aiming back towards their own net. They don't want to give it to Nason. They had to bounce it off the floor. Chicken looking for a defensive touch. No one getting it, and now Chalotis fills the gap where everyone else is lacking.
70 seconds left on the clock, and Havelock, they've been so close yet so far away. A great demolition onto Gangy is going to fall just a little short, puts Dixon in a possibility of winning position, but they need to make some magic happen here with little time left on the clock. 1 minute remaining here. We're looking to see if Dixon can find that striking time, and now nobody falls into that silence quite yet. Chalotis goes for an opportunity. That's an open goal on the side of Havelock. Is anybody going to be home?
Ooh, right in the back corner, 45 seconds to go. Good challenge. You have just enough. Chalotis, they're going to get challenged out as Chicken there. Big save by Nason as they were put under pressure by a mighty, mighty Chicken. Half minute approaching. That's a miss. Zoils there for the crash of the gate, but it's just strong enough. I believe that was Chicken there to the sidewall. Nason sends it high, denies Chalotis a look. Chicken is going to give it away over to Khan, and they are extending it just a bit further. A massive challenge there on the foot race, and Chalotis gets there in the nick of time, but we've only got 15 seconds to go, and that may be the kill shot.
That's got to be game. That absolutely has to be game. Dixon with 13 seconds left on the clock. There's a 13 on the scoreboard, but if you're a Havelock, you are not feeling good about that. That is going to be a tough moment to come from game 5. 13 seconds left. Now, Monkey Man, the fastest goals back-to-back we've seen, I believe, was 16 seconds, but it was on the side of Havelock. Can they do it again?
You've got to score. The average kickoff timer is 7 seconds. That means you have to score right here, right now, and you're just not doing it. You got to get some seconds left on, but maybe it's time for a new era because Dixon is showcasing to Havelock why they fell short. 3-2, they will challenge the peak, the climax of this VESL league. And of course, even with 6 shots, Chalotis, they can't carry the entire breadth and depth of the squad for Havelock. Dixon, they come out massive 3-1 win, and 2 of them actually this time around held by Zoils. Full team effort, 10 shots to just the 7 out of Havelock. Septilence, this squad, they brought it to Havelock every single game.
I mean, listen, if you're going to go up against Havelock, there's one way to do it if you're going to do it well, right? It's not about winning. It's about sending a message to the runner-up team that we saw last season. They come out, games are a little rough. It goes all the way to 5, which isn't perfect, but as a wise man once said, a win is a win. You know what I'm saying? It is a victory. It is a W down the line, no matter what happens. That is a huge W for Dixon there, and they've got to be walking away proud. That's our first series of the day done. Only 3 to go already, but if they're all that good, I cannot wait to see what we've got coming out down the line.
It's going to be a deep schedule if all of them go to 5. But, we have one letter of W. How about 4 more of STEM, STEM, as we'll be going over to a STEM showcase. We're going to bring in Ko to guide you through all the awesomeness that is science, tech, engineering, and mathematics. So let's go that direction. Let's take ourselves a break and let's enjoy a bit of the sciencey side.
All right, well, welcome, everybody, to the STEM portion of the show. Glad you were able to take a Rocket League break before we get into some STEM. Oh, yeah, it's going to be some good stuff. So in just a second, I got pulled up here the VESL site. We're going to take a look at some of these cool things that you guys have been doing over the past few weeks for the competitions. So, actually, what I want to show you guys is, does audio work? It probably does. We're going to take a look at some of these shorts you guys have made for the entrepreneurship content creation challenge thing that we got going on. Let's start with a funny one. Start with Echo Venom's video.
Hey, what's up, guys? Echo Venom here, and today, hold up. Now, this headphone dent issue is a common issue among gamers, one that needs to be solved. So I did some research and I realized the perfect solution. Introducing the Headset Halo. Rest your headphones on our comfortable neck pillow for great sound, comfort, and dentless hair. Buy now.
Do not wear the Headset Halo. You're pregnant, plan to be pregnant, allergic to pollen.
It's a pretty funny video. Got 62 likes. Not bad. Not bad. Let's see here. Another one that I liked was the top 3 business ideas with Barack
Here are my
Obama.
top 3 business ideas. Number 1, door-to-door selling, no soliciting signs. Number 2, Barack, pet rocks with Obama's face on them. And number 3, inflatable dartboards, one-time use only.
One-time use only. Heck yeah. Fantastic ideas. Alright, let's look at another. It's like Christmas. There's so many options. Having a hard time picking here. Let's watch AKs. They put their logo in the corner, which I thought was a really cool idea.
Of a brave hero on a quest to uncover secrets, battle mythical creatures, and overcome insurmountable odds. Solve ancient puzzles that guard the kingdom's secrets. Unlock the mysteries of the Lost Kingdom and claim its hidden treasures. Experience stunning graphics and immersive gameplay in an epic adventure, Eternal Quest. The Lost Kingdom. Pre-order now.
I wonder how they made all those AI images and videos. It's pretty cool stuff. Alright, let's check out one more from the entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is not what it seems, ladies and gentlemen.
Entrepreneurship is not what it seems. Let me explain. Millions of people online are seeing creators flex cars, money, and other luxurious goods, ultimately influencing them to search up entrepreneurship. While this is good, with so many online gurus, there can be a lot of confusion, especially now since there is so many fake gurus trying to show what their entrepreneurship is by selling courses. But in reality, entrepreneurship is much different. It's about gaining the skills to make a successful business and show good resources such as risk management, marketing, management, and more. Entrepreneurship isn't a get-rich-quick scheme like everyone on the internet make it seems, but rather a toolbox to helping you build a successful business no matter the industry. So this is why...
Excellent ending to that video. No, I actually liked it because it's got that familiar AI voice, and they've shown that videos with those AI voices actually do pretty well for some reason. I don't know why. Don't ask me. All right, let's take a look at one of these manufacturing designs. Now, only one of you put a thumbnail for your design, which is fine. guess you don't really need it, but like it's just so much cooler. Let's take a look at their on-shape project right here. Just go ahead and pop in. It's called Death's Door Key, and if you don't already know, the why is Spotify playing? Technical difficulties here in the studio. Spotify is activated, and the producer almost died tripping over a cable. Everything's going wrong at this current moment in time. But that's entrepreneurship, I guess, for you. Anyway, Death's Door Key. It's the prompt was to create an object that would be put into Gordon Ramsay. Where did you come from? It's to put into you're trying to create an object that goes into the Super Smash Brothers as like one of those item pickup things, you know, like the hammer. Spotify is back. Everything's going wrong. But yeah, they created this cool item, and like you can like check it out with the link that they put in. It's like super cool. What is the story behind it, I wonder? Well, let's go check it out. They put some words here. It says Death's Key Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a game with simple concept, but with mechanics that make the game interesting and fun to play. All of us are fond of the game and have grown to love it. And more words. It's pretty cool. It's on the social page. Go check it out. Give it a read. It's a cool idea. Something else I want to highlight is this here lunch idea that we got cooking up that somebody submitted. They had for healthcare, you guys were supposed to make a new type of school lunch that you would like to be put in schools. And the one thing I really liked on this one was the fact that they put smoothies in there. Smoothies are healthy as long as you don't add a ton of sugar and ice cream and Nutella and Jif peanut butter into it. They're really good. Cost efficient. $1 to $1.50. Don't know how they managed that in a real smoothie, but that's a good addition. It's pretty healthy stuff. Getting people hooked on smoothies early. And they have like a very diverse selection here of foods. The Italian dessert thing we got cooking up right here. Looks pretty good. I don't even know what it is, and I would eat it. And yeah, it's good stuff. I love all the images. It means I don't have to read the words. We like that. Yeah. Well, I mean, your fellow students are putting up some pretty funny content here. So I'd go ahead and go over to myvesl.org. Click that social tab and you'll get all the cool posts. And if you're an Instagram kid or an iPad kid, then you can click that button that says list, and it will it's like big single ones in your face. It's a pretty pleasant experience we got cooking up over here. All right, well, I loved showing off all those cool STEM stuff today. If you want your STEM stuff shown off, do a good job. Go ahead and submit those cool things that you guys can totally make. I believe in you. It's fun. You'll learn stuff. It's great. Have a good time over here. All right, well, with that, I'm going to pass it off to a very short break before we get back into some more Rocket League. So I'll see you guys next time.
Welcome back to the VESL Showcase. It's week 3. Do you know where your student talent is? Well, we're about to show you, at least for North Carolina, as we go back into it. I'm Hail Monkey Man in the booth alongside Septilence, and we're already starting into our next series as Nantahala High School, or I guess just school, versus Franklin High, the Panthers, and the Hawks.
My whole bit ruined. I was muted the whole time. I'm excited that these players are excited. And Big Gav 25 going to kick things off strong here for Franklin, putting that first goal down on the board just 35 seconds into game number 1 of this best-of-5 series.
I love the bobsled doomsy, because technically that was a doomsy feed if you would keep it up in the air, but they just dropped to the ground and let it bonk off of their upside down fender. What an inverted and creative concept from out of Franklin High, as they recently brought in their third. This was gonna be a 2v3, but he decided to go whole hog and make sure that everyone would be into it, as the Hawks do suffer from at least that first goal. This is just all the first minute of play, and now it's gonna be another one. Caden gonna drop another bomb.
Franklin already coming in hot. We are a whopping 1 minute into the series thus far, and this team has found themselves large and in charge. 2 goals now on the board. We're looking to see if we're going to be getting a whole lot more from Franklin. This could be a very high-scoring affair.
So far, so good, at least for the Panthers, as Franklin really kind of brings that heat. Big Gav and Caden connecting a couple of times. And this is actually the kind of the first looks that we've seen for a few of these schools, especially for the Western Conference as they come through. A lot of these schools set out in those awesome mountains over in North Carolina. So a lot to prove as there's a ton of talent that's over into some of these more known counties. And then when you really produce some of these extra players that maybe are seeing competition for the first time, it can be very difficult for them to be ready to go. But it is at least a reception of the Hawks into the corner. They don't want to give up a third one. That's at least a good purchase as not a robot. They're able to find one out.
This has nothing to do with the competitive nature of the game. Not a Robot may have my favorite vehicle that I've ever seen a player bring to the table. It's cute. I love the colors. It has a little pineapple on top. I just really like its whole aesthetic. I'm a big fan. But Big Gav25, he said, Sunderland's be a big fan of me. I'm carrying. He finds 2 points for Franklin. They're already going to be up 3-0 with 3-2-0 left on the clock. Oh, it's 3-0 with 3-2-0. Ah, I had a better line and I biffed it. Devastating.
It's all right. It's okay. If I'm not mistaken, I'm doing a quick Google because that's actually a car that I have. I think that's the Nautilus.
I really like it.
It's the Proteus. That's what it is. Yeah, it's the crab car. So that actually came out the exact same time as the Triton, which are both underwater cars that were both here for the, it was for the Salty Shores concept as well as the underwater. Big Gav, though, is putting the Hawks more underwater as they just race on by.
Yeah, it's going to be Big Gav coming in with a three-peat, I believe. That's going to be a hat trick on the side of Big Gav. Looking really strong here in the Franklin side. 4-0 already for the highest scoring affair that we've seen from a single team today, I believe. I don't think we've seen a 4 on the board until now.
No, we did, but it was overtime. That was the
you're
3-0
right. It was
comeback
the 4 that, yes, you were correct.
Yeah. So it has been there, but this is definitely the largest differential that's been here on the day. It was a Game 5 banger just a little bit ago, in case you guys did not see it, and that was Havlock that actually came out the worst of it against Dixon. And so far, Nantahala, it's not exactly fun. They're holding hands between teammates right there. So at the 240 mark and approaching midway, Septimus, this is starting to at least look like Panthers of Franklin are very much in control, especially as they bury a 5th.
Yeah, they're going to bury that 5th point on the board. And you've got to want to correct me if I'm wrong, Monkey Man, that this is the team that had the full roster kind of locked and ready to go. They're coming in super excited to be here. So there is part of me that wonders, is it just going to be that team synergy that comes out stronger? They're just feeling a little bit more confident in their gameplay, because right now, confidence definitely seems to be the name of the game.
It's actually the opposite.
Is it really?
Yeah, this is the team that brought in like a third.
Oh, wow.
Ghost is doing 360s on their back as Nantahala is just trying to be able to get their wheels underneath them. So you can definitely see that there is depth at roster, and maybe even bringing in a new third. There's depth of talent out in your school. And this is one of those things when I think of esports programs, you never know who's good out there until you bring them in and you start seeing them compete.
Compete is the name of the game, and right now, Franklin, by golly, I'm flabbergasted. I mean, I can't believe they bring in the sub and they're dunking right now with a 5-0 on the board. 2 minutes remaining on the clock. DeGhost goes in for a great pass into that far left corner. That's an open goal. Knock, nobody home. Can't even sign for the package because this is going to be left on the doorstep there. 6th point lined up, 100 seconds remaining in game number 1.
I really hate, I love packages that you don't have to sign for. I know that allows Porch Pirates to really come my way, but I've never been, in a bad situation where that's happened. I know that I'm just waiting in the wings for it to occur, but just give me my what I ordered. I don't want to have to go all the way up to the mail office to go and get it myself.
No, for real. I actually, when I order super expensive packages, I order them to my friend's house because I know that she has cameras. So I'm like, can I order this to your house? She's like, yeah, of course. So then instead of going to the mail office, I have to drive to my friend's house and pick up my package. But it just feels safer. It feels like it's harder to steal a package from her house than it is from mine. So I always try to send them to safe places. But I'll tell you right now, Franklin, they are in a safe place because golly, this is pretty much on lose wolf in this moment.
Yeah, 6-0, a 6 anything, especially a 6-up, is quite the winnable venture in Rocket League. Even if you were at kind of a 6-3, you're in a great position, but that also kind of begets a shootout. Nantahala, they obviously are kind of looking to get just at least some better contact. Right now, Franklin has been confident. They've been fortuitous, and they've really been able to find some better touches. But Nantahala, they're not giving up. 40 seconds to go. They're going to try and rumble it out here through this first game.
40 seconds. I mean, you just got to fight through and through, right? fight to tooth and nail to the bitter end. You got to fight until the game is over. And with 33 seconds left on the clock, I'm waiting to see if Franklin will drop the ball. Pun kind of intended, and I don't think we're going to be seeing that drop quite yet. And near goal is going to be pinched away once more by, I believe that was not a robot. And with 20 seconds here remaining, Franklin, they have got this game into the bag.
Not quite curtains, but not quite drapes either. Looking for at least one touch, as that one will fly on by. That's going to be Freemy who sends it away, or Free Memes Kids is what it says. But Franklin Panthers, they do the work necessary, get the job done, and then they just kind of never look back from their just dominating authority upfield. So I think one thing that, is to be highlighted as well, obviously you have student talent that can be at various levels. And there was at least a few demos, but Nantahala, this is a developing program, and we've seen some of your blue bloods versus, your white collar, and who's going to be coming in, staying even, and also really finding that talent as it exists in their student body.
Yeah, finding that talent is obviously going to be the hardest part of the journey, I think. Just giving yourselves an opportunity to find the teams. And obviously, the larger a student body may be, the easier it is to find talented players, because that's how numbers work, right? Everything's a numbers game. So we're waiting to see if we can get a little bit more of that. But unfortunately, it's just one of those scenarios where game one's rough. But my favorite thing about Rocket League, Monkey Man, is just, each game is its own. Game one has nothing on game two, and it has so little to do with it that you can really just kind of start fresh from the very beginning.
Can you imagine having a game concept, or at least a format, where you actually get to take forward goals from a previous game into later games?
Like if you score enough, it starts stacking into the next game.
It's just like actual League of Legends style.
You know why they don't do that? Because nobody would play that game. That's why they don't do that. That sounds so terrible.
I kind of want to see it. I want to see what may be coming out of that.
It would just hurt my feelings to lose so hard that they start winning the next game. I'm like, come on,
You've already started winning the next. I've thought about it too. You have a 6-0 like in this previous game, right? But then imagine the series is based on total goals, not just the one game.
I hear ya.
Yeah. You can just have like a running clock. You can, instead of like stopping it out whenever you score, just have it be 5 minutes. Just like, all right, go. And this whatever you can get. Yeah.
Instead of 5-minute games, we do one 25-minute game. Thoughts? Might take a lot longer, but it could be interesting.
Did you not see the most recent one that Fear did? He actually did an entire bracket of 1v1s, and it was all 20-minute games.
Oh, I was kidding. Ew.
Yeah. No, there was one. I think one of the games was like 28 to 26. Over 50 goals.
That is absurd. I forgot you can't see me. I did like a full cartoon jaw drop. I forgot that I'm not visible at the moment.
Well, what is very visible right now is that this more than first minute, we were seeing the equivalent of a sit-in. And Franklin just kind of chilling. They put one goal upfield, and then Nantahala really is kind of seeing kind of the difference right now of, I guess, total play. And Ghost will take it away from their teammate, but this Rocket League is prone to memes. What is the Overwatch equivalent of what we're getting right now? I need to know. Explain in Overwatch terms.
What a good question, honestly. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things that you could kind of put that middle consideration into. It's like maybe like ulting when the fight's over, right? Like using your ultimate and there's nobody there to be caught by it. I think that's kind of the closest equivalent that we could get in a situation like this.
Getting the beat drop from a Lucio whenever everything is already done and you've already just team wiped them. I could see that. Something similar, at least. 2-0 here for the Panthers, but we do see right now Nantahala, the Hawks, trying to get at least some just solid contact, and that's all you can really encourage, especially as these programs continue to develop themselves. Franklin, they are going to contend as minimally as they need to and maximally as is required. First couple of minutes eventually going away, and I'd say in Valorant terms, now that I actually pose the question as well, it's like using your, let's see, what would it be? Just putting all the smokes in the middle of the map and then calling for the knife fight.
Absolutely. Just putting the smokes in the middle map, just throwing your util out earlier, like, knife fight midfield or mid-map or whatever it may be. But, I mean, it's just about confidence being the name of the game. And when you get to a high school level, you're going to be seeing a lot of that confidence. A lot of these players have been playing for significantly longer, either together or as individuals. So a lot of this is going to break down to confidence. And Franklin, I mean, they are just drowning in it.
Yeah, it's an absolute smorgasbord of snacks of confidence. A great drop down there by Big Gav as they're able to turn this into a 3-0 position. Just straight to the ceiling. Don't even actually need to be able to get that touch. There's just a pre-launch off from sidewall, and that's just general good mechanics coming out from the Panthers. Franklin, I mean, they may have just brought in Caden, but obviously this is a well-measured group. Whenever you bring in a new sub, you also just basically have to play these things like ranked, just kind of get it on the fly.
Yeah, without a doubt. You just got to play it ranked, play one game at a time, play one opportunity at a time, and just do whatever you think you're going to be able to. Waiting to see now with 2 minutes on the clock if we're going to be seeing Franklin lose any goals or if a goal gets scored against them. But for the time being, looks like this is just going to be their game to take, man.
Yeah, just gonna be coasting on by.
Sometimes there just ain't much more to be said, you know.
we get to chill. We get to observe. We get to see apparently a lot of demos, which is just unfortunate. But Nantahala, gonna be encouraging of them as well, as they actually have a chance if they can catch up to that moment. They'll take a single shot on net, and Ghost, they steal mid boost and they look for as many bumps and bruises as they can. I kind of want to see them bring in Mario Kart rules into Rocket League.
Okay,
I want to see a green shell and red shell and blue shell come out.
I'm a sucker for a red shell. One of the best items in any video game ever, honestly.
Okay.
Just unless it's used on me, in which case worst item in history. But you know, that's just how most things work. But I've always kind of wondered, you know, like demolitions play such a big part in this game, and I know that there's the one game mode where like you can get items and stuff. I've always wondered if they did kind of change that of like a way to kind of remove or eliminate a player more consistently from range. I think that would have a really fascinating impact on the game.
You know, I've always thought it'd be great if you were moving slow enough and someone hit the ball fast enough that the ball would demo you.
Gone, just straight through.
Just obliterated, turn into scrap metal.
But playing defense would be so hard then. Because like, what do you do?
And then just boomed out of the way.
You just get fully deleted from existence.
There is the one Rumble power up that's like a laser that like forces you to boost. What if you just use that and that was like an auto demo? It's as if the a stormtrooper was actually able to hit something. Well, so far, Nantahala has been able to hit at least a few times as they kind of bring this one upfield. No ginormous threats against the Panthers. A chance. They're near side on the stripes, but you have two way back for the Hawks. That's unfortunate. That was one of their better looks. But less than 10 seconds ago, Franklin did half the job and still have been winning the battle. Looking to make this one a clean sweep. We're working towards game number 3. Trying to get themselves something to end out week number 3 as they're up 2-0 in the series.
Week number 3, 2-0 in the series. This team got to be feeling pretty darn good, all things considered. I mean, we're going to be seeing a clean shot at victory here for Franklin if they can keep this up. Currently, total score, I'm not even sure it's a 9-0 right now in favor of Franklin. So this is a team that feels confident, that's feeling good in their skin, that feels like they want to walk away with a 3-0 victory.
Only one less demo than what we saw before. 10 demos on the side of the Panthers. So that could have been something of a proactive measure to keep the Hawks from being able to fly onto the back half. 4 total points for Caden. 4. Just 4. So we would go into game number 3. I'm looking to see if they can get up to 6, maybe even 8. Who knows? Double digits could be in the near future for them. We go into maybe 5 more minutes of play.
5 more minutes to play if Franklin continues that pace of aggression that we've been seeing from this team so consistently up to this point, Hail Monkey Man. And I feel like it really is just their series to lose for the time being. This is a team that came out loud and proud, large and in charge. They struck with aggression and they have not lost its sense. A beautiful exclamation point on the statement I'm making. This is a team that is just coming out to make as large an impact as they can.
Looking at what this will turn into, because obviously you have conference play that's going on right now, Septilence, and then we have regionals that these teams are going to try and qualify for, and then those big moments at those lands. How big of how big of like a forthcoming feature is that for them? Because this has got to be all right. We get the job done here, and then we really get to measure ourselves against some of the best in the entire state of North Carolina.
Yeah, I think that is going to be one of the interesting situations, right? Because when you get to a VESL qualifier, VESL regional, or VESL states, you know, as we saw just a little while ago, you do look at a scenario of kind of your win condition has been set, and on top of that, you kind of know the caliber of skill of the teams you're going to be playing up against. They all also had to qualify to get there. They also had to get through XYZ amount of teams or, events to get there. But in situations like we're looking at right now, these teams can really be of any caliber, of any rank, of any part of the state. So there's a lot to look towards of being a player, of recognizing, is this going to be just one of our easier games? How much do we really need to extend to be able to find a victory here?
Yeah, how much extra effort and where do we really find the math and needing to math itself out of what is the actual W? Because at this point in Nantahala, it's been kind of difficult for them, obviously, into that developmental kind of cycle for this program and for these players. They see teams of a higher caliber that approach them that they may not see at their current rank club, and that's a very difficult challenge. And that's really, I think, where some of the challenge also lies with not just the student body, but as well as the teachers, because you get the coaches that come through, if there is one, and then the ones that are really kind of settling the program into its future paces. So, you got to give kudos to those that can really find these moments and then find something positive to come out from it. We've had the first 90 seconds and more now gone and out, and Nantahala is trying to defend as much as they can against Franklin.
I'm surprised that we're only staring 2 goals in the face right now, just kind of off of what we've seen from Franklin earlier today. They're going to be going a little bit slower, a little bit more patient with their play style, and as we get an opportunity, Not a Robot gets it close. Secondary attempt goes through, and Big Gav just able to keep it out of goal by the skin of their teeth there. Unfortunate, but a great defense regardless.
Gav really has been the biggest proponent for success, one of the mainstay players here for the Franklin Panthers. And that's actually a few demos, and this is, all right, there may not be red shells, but there definitely are a lot of explosions coming through. I need to know then, because of that one eventually finding its way in as well, your favorite is the red shell. Does that mean that the triple red shell is your favorite of all the Mario power-ups?
Okay, so my favorite Mario power-up is the 8 item from Mario Kart 8 exclusively, where you get one of every item. I think that's so fun. It's like a rare little Easter egg to get the item in the game. But if we're talking across all Mario Karts, yeah, triple red shell for life, 100%.
Okay, all right. I personally love me some lightning.
Ooh, or the bullet bill.
Yeah, the
bullet bill
is crazy.
I didn't experience
that too often, but when I did, I was like, "Oh, I don't even know what is this."
The bullet bill is way up there for me, honestly.
Yeah, you just pile drive through literally everyone. So, Nantahala, they want to turn into bullet bill, and I believe that Repaired Tracks is attempting to do exactly that. Gonna take a free net? No. Looking for a 1-2 pass? Not quite. And Franklin looking to bleed out as much of this clock as quickly as they can, as Not a Robot takes your favorite car in the Proteus and looks to run this one upfield. 2 minutes remaining before the Hawks end up seeing this one all sealed up.
Yeah, we're going to have 2 minutes left on the clock here. Franklin trying to keep it a bit of a low-scoring affair. They're just kind of pulling their punches a wee bit here in this third game. Big Gap, great pass in towards center, up and over a defender. This could be a huge moment for Not a Robot, who is going to be able to steal things away. Oh, almost a Rule 1, but unfortunately moving just a little bit too fast to make it happen. Big Gav on the defense. Not a Robot goes up and through. It's going to be knocked away from the Ghost. Just barely not going to be able to make it in. A devastating blow.
Unfortunate for Not a Robot. They just peeled a little bit too much off of that pineapple, and that ended up being what took away the momentum and the power to try and make that final hit. Still, you got time. Maybe you'd be able to get 1 score and turn this into not a perfect sweep. 70 seconds. Big Gav's going to put a bouncer upfield. Not a Robot. They're going to be the savior, and you really can tell that they've been putting some extra work to really guide this Hawk squad for Nantahala and Franklin. It is just a full-on bar brawl melee between everyone out there. It's really been just full 3v3 nonsense from end to end.
3v3 nonsense indeed from the very beginning here toward what may be a bitter end for Nantahala. Franklin going to be able to find themselves up by 3 with only 40 seconds left on the clock. It's just not a scenario you want to put yourself in at a time like this, and we're hoping that they're going to be able to find a bit more value down the line on the side of Nantahala. But Franklin looking good. You know, what did I say last series? It's not about winning. Sometimes it's just about sending a message, and by golly, has a message been sent. Oh, yes!
Well, Caden, the sub up for the Panthers, they send a message just the same, is that the lone score here for the Hawks is going to come off of their nose. They were hoping to bring it to the corner, and that one goes a bit too much sideways. Not a Robot had final touch to it out of the Hawks, so they're able to at least get one here, Septilence. At least one.
A 1 is better than none. Simple statistics, but a true statement regardless. Really going to see if Nantahala, 15 seconds left, scoring twice. Not impossible, actually. So possible. We saw it twice today. So Nantahala, they're going to be able to give it their best here. They get that 1 point up and on the board, and they've got to be feeling good about that at the very least. But as we trickle down to these single digits, I do believe they will unfortunately not be able to find those final goals, and the Panthers will win with a 3-0 victory in our second of 4 series here tonight.
3-0, and much in opposite of our Game 5 banger that we get to see a little bit ago. Franklin
perfectly balanced.
Yeah, pulling out all the stops, and that goes very well for just our 2 matches on the day. And we have 2 more matches to go. Not a robot, finding that lone shining light. That's something to build off of if you are the Nantahala Hawks. On the other side, Franklin, I mean, obviously just came to play. They got the job done, and looking pretty rock steady with it, with 21 demos because reasons.
Dang, that's a lot. That's a lot of demos. That's a high number.
Yeah, it's definitely more than 1.
2. It's several more than 1. Some might say.
Yeah. several levels and several exponential values, but we have far more than 1. At least 2 more matches to go.
We have double 1.
I know. It's like 1 and then 1 and then another. It's just adding them all into, math is one of my fortes. So I'm glad it really hasn't escaped me in all these years after high school. But we're going to see if the math really checks out as we go to a break. Another matchup forthcoming for VESL. It's going to be Lake Norman High and Cabarrus Early College for the Metro Conference. You're going to want to stick around and see it. More VESL Conference showcases coming up right after this. Welcome, everyone, to another showcase match here with VESL. That's Varsity Esports and STEM League. Again, I'm Hail Monkey Man in the booth alongside Septilence, and we're getting into our third of 4 matches. In case you didn't know, that's Septilence. They are not a doppelganger. They will not change your channel unless you live within, I guess, driving distance of Septilence. But as we
Please don't change my channel. Please don't change my channel.
No, dude, please no. But as we change over into our next matchup, we have a double header of CMS matches here as we drop into them. Now, for our third in today, it's West Mecklenburg versus Providence.
Yeah, West Mac versus Providence. Teams definitely coming out with an opportunity to try and prove themselves here. I think an early lead is, of course, going to be the name of the game, or has been thus far today in the 2 series that we've seen. Finding that scoring earlier in game 1 has really been an interesting game that I've seen, where things are kind of really falling apart back and forth. We're looking at that opportunity to see I score super early on, and then you score to tie things up. But it seems to be the team that has scored first continues to be that team to win.
Ooh, that was a great idea. Look at that drastic angle requirement. And then you're seeing West Mecklenburg answer in triplicate, but it's Tan Banana that splits between the defenders. And that's going to be Providence on top first.
That's going to be Providence coming out early. So now let's see if the thing I just spent a good minute and a half discussing proves to be true. So let's see if Providence is going to be able to win this game, or if instead things may be falling just a little bit. West Mech, a majority, 80+% of the game remaining to try and score back.
Tons of time. An early score in Rocket League is never the end of it unless you're just facing off against the pros. Flip reset, double flip reset, triple flip reset, because reason, try to be able to feed it across. And that was a great showcase of mechanics as they bring it all the way from one end to the next. But a long developing play is a long telegraphed play. And West Mecklenburg, even they will not be dismayed by that. But a double commit and failed sends succeeding in bringing this forward into the box. And that's going to be Tan Banana with their second.
Tan Banana 11 with their second goal on the board. So Providence really coming in large and in charge. I'm going to be so 100%. I cannot tell what Providence's mascot is. It looks like it's interesting, but I really just can't identify it. So when the game's over, it'll get a little bit bigger, and hopefully we can see it then.
I think it's a panther. Because look, you're in North Carolina.
Oh, I think I see it. I think I see it.
It's a weird. You see the P, and then it's like swooping out. It's doing like the Chester Cheeto animation thing. Yeah. Well, Gecko, you also see them as I have not seen this goal explosion. Wait, hold on. Let me just enjoy it. Is this? You see this?
Beautiful.
Oh,
cute.
It looks like a Valorant ult orb that just
looks
plants onto the ground.
Just looks like a little guy.
This little guy doing
looks like a little guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, Providence has been some big guys so far.
True.
They've been kicking butt so far. As West Mecklenburg been, unfortunately, answering them pretty swiftly, but failed since. Nice fake. Providence setting up some excessive offense on all these tries.
Yeah, the offense has been pretty wishy-washy, but kind of due to the ability of both teams to create a pretty steadfast defense when it matters. Wow, I thought I jinxed that super hard, but luckily Oxen was going to be in the way there to try and get things out. Or Oxen perhaps looking for a lineup in, a beautiful tap in off the floor, getting a lot of momentum beneath that ball. Tan Banana trying to go for the three-peat, but no silence off the board quite yet, unless... Oh, no, just kidding. Got my hopes up.
Just off the angle, and also they're using the tires that looks like someone put a boot on your wheel because you're gonna get towed later. I have no idea what those wheels are called, but they always look so strange. I know it's just an exposed brake line. But at the midway mark, Gecko has to get the takeaway, and they can't get the finisher. West Mecklenburg in one of their better positions. And again, this is one of those tried and true rivalries that we've seen over the previous several semesters out of the CMS division. And really, it's been kind of tough. West Mecklenburg has been able to evolve a few different times, but Providence, they've made their way into the top 6, top 8 just for this conference alone. And again, steadily trying to head for the top, especially with its early first game performance.
Yeah, Providence able to find a 3-0. The highest lead we've seen today was 6-0, I believe. So Providence halfway to that with just under half the game remaining. So statistically, they should get right around there somewhere unless West Mech can break out of this. We saw earlier today a team down by 3 that actually tied things up and won that game 4-3. But Gecko trying to make it 4-0 here in favor of Providence. A huge start for this team. Going to go a long way once more.
The way they spun out on this, you swore Dizzy was put out on the map, but not quite the same Gecko. 2 minutes now for West Mecklenburg to try and at least keep
I get
Providence. It. There you go. See,
Got it.
That was a slow burn.
I liked
right?
it. Just took me a sec to get there. I like it. Clever.
Yeah, too much Valorant. Providence, though, has been very prominent upfield as West Mecklenburg has been kind of just stuck looking for some of these sequence of touches. They're missing some of those link-up plays. Obviously, they've been getting the single touch and looking for at least a clear. They got to take advantage of this position. They were able to get both failed sins as well as Tan Banana on top of one another, but it's individual stuff like this. Failed sins over the top, looking for the double, but they can't get it away from the defender. Okay. Whew. Providence could have almost found a fifth as West Mecklenburg we're in dire straits as that one goes corner and out and in, and now we go to the 70-second mark. Providence did the work early. We saw that a bit just in the previous series, and at this point in time, with a minute to go, West Mecklenburg, they have a lot of work to do, and I just don't think they have time to do it.
1 minute left on the clock there, and Providence is going to be able to put themselves up 4-0. 1 goal per 15 seconds right now for West Mech. Not a scenario you want to be in. I think a scenario where they're just going to have to kiss game number 1 goodbye. But I've mentioned many a times, I'll mention it, hey, just one more, one for the road, right? We could be seeing that opportunity where game 1 does not have to have an impact on the further games in the series. And maybe if we're lucky, we're going to get the opportunity to see a huge opportunity from West Mech to come back.
You know, if you're ever gonna have a blowout, let it be game 1. Don't let it
amen.
be.
Amen.
You know, just set it, forget it. Be like, all right, it happened. Look, now the sticks are warm, your hands are moving, and the team comms are up. That is what matters the most. West Mecklenburg, you can write this one off 5-0. It's gonna be an untenable comeback to try and succeed with. And it's West Mecklenburg still that doesn't want to allow at least a freebie here. Tan Banana went all in, and Providence is trying to match the most. Or the greatest differential seen on broadcast today, less than a half minute for West Mecklenburg to at least get one to maybe start their own campaign.
Like I said, statistically, they should be somewhere around 6-0 by the end of the game. And yeah, gotta say 5-0, that's pretty darn somewhere around. So things are looking pretty good from Providence thus far with only 10 seconds remaining on the clock. A great tap could go up and in, but it's gonna go up into the crossbar instead. The last place you want it to be, 5 seconds left. Can West Mech find any kind of momentum before this game wraps itself up with a nice little bow on top? Unfortunately, Hail Monkey Man, the answer gonna be a big fat no. We're gonna see Providence win that game, and that's definitely a Panther. That's definitely a Panther. I see it in full vision now.
Yeah, it's like a sideways Nike check panther. They're just it's like a ghost panther that just escaped the Ghostbusters like containment cell. Just
I hear you.
yeah. Lots of lore for that panther. Big lore though, 10 shots to 1. You have West Mech really kind of stuck with their backs to the wall, heels to the line, and Providence, they were on their toes and fully running downhill. Biggest proponent for success was really Tan Banana and Gecko. Tan starting things off and Gecko really finding those finishes. They had 100% participation with 2 assists and a hat trick of their own. West Mech, this has got to be a team that they cannot be forced into the reverse gamer lead. More of like a surrender Cobra situation.
Yeah, this is one of those scenarios where West Mech, I think you've got to go for a lock-in here. I think the opportunity to strike comes from finding and eliminating Gecko, who did find a majority of those goals for Providence in game number 1. It's a 5-0 victory. You take Gecko out of the way. The bad part about that, it's still a 2-0 victory for them, right? We need to see not only an increased offense from West Mech, but a harder defense as well. They need to make sure their goal is not open as often. Is that as simple as sticking somebody in the back third and praying they stay there? I think it very likely could be.
Yeah, that's very true. Heck, you take Gecko out of the way, you take Tan Banana out of the way, and you still have failed sins with flashing mechanics that no one wants to have to deal with. So
just one of those teams where it's like you eliminate one player and the other 2 are just as good.
Oh man, you get rid of all 3 players, and then there's still an open net that you haven't taken a single shot at.
Yep.
So, well, we go to this next 5 minutes of play. Game number 2. West Mech already upfield. And then the few things that actually started early is how often that we got to see a lot of these fakes from out of West, or rather from Providence. Well, there's no fakes here. Gecko simply taking a timely shot. What a pass by failed sins.
Yeah, a beautiful pass into Gecko once again, a name that we are clearly going to be saying a lot of here in the rest of this series. Game number 2 is already under Providence's rule, just 20 seconds in.
If there's 2 C's in Gecko, does it mean it's like an extra thick Gecko? Like they have like the big butt tail? kind of situation? I don't know. It's someone who is a lizardologist. Tell me about it.
A lizardologist. That's what we're landing on.
I mean, well, what are they actually called? I don't know. It's called a dub because apparently Oxen is going to find ourselves tied up at one. Great challenge here to force the defense into a double commit.
I believe it's an herpetologist, but nobody quote me on that. That is a shot in the dark. I believe it is an herpetologist, but I don't even remember where I was headed with what we're talking about. So let's instead talk about the 1-1 score line on the board. 4:18 remaining, and we see West Mech. They finally put themselves right back into the swing here. So it's going to be that 0 lineup up and running here. Next goal. Oh, check that out. The side of the goal at just breakneck speed.
Yeah, the Providence Panthers ended up just kind of colliding into each other off of the initial challenge when they rotated backwards, and that actually gave West Mech an opportunity to at least take their first strike and get their only goal that's been acquired here now since game number 1. But they answer in kind, and this isn't exactly a completely lesser squad. West Mech has been able to at least find some pace, but it's been Providence that's been just all over them, really pouncing at chances. Got to find this one touch, and they do. As that one is picked up by Apollo, and Asura trying to assure at least this will stay tied for a little bit longer.
That tie could be the difference maker at the end of the day. We want to see this 1-1 if West Mech can win. I think if West Mech is going to win a game, it's going to be in kind of a 3-2 fashion or a 2-1 fashion. I think that one goal is going to make the difference. I'd love to see West Mech take the lead just like that. They found the lead for the first time this series in a team. Just when we're getting ready to count them out, they show us that it is not over until it is over. Coming out loud. Oh my goodness, hold on. Coming out loud and proud, large and in charge. West Mech going to be going up for the first time this series.
Trying to mix all the words together.
I was just excited.
Larch and
charge.
Lardon and Chowd. It's just the true crossover that we've been waiting on. But this is West Mech that does find their first lead. That's a massive position for them because Providence has obviously showcased the mechs. This is going to go to the ceiling, but it's actually just going to hang high, and you already see them looking for the punish. That's a big bouncer. It goes back towards their net, and not the wisest decision, not the one that maybe the Panthers are looking the most for. West Mech in an advantageous position at the midway mark, looking for the doink, ends up kind of going more to the external side, playing for the perimeter. But this is also, I feel like, Providence not outside the realm of comeback possibility either. I feel like they're just taking their time, but playing with their food a little bit, but they're still behind. You got to find a strike.
Yeah, there was a series we had earlier there where I kind of mentioned it felt like we were seeing Dixon, really just strike like a cobra. They would play slow, and then if they lost the lead, they'd just strike immediately, score twice, and take it right back. So I'm wondering if Providence is maybe going for a play style similar. I think it's not being executed as well, just due to the fact that this has actually been a pretty long time. They've been in the deficit well over a minute at this point, so you have to wonder if we're going to be getting that workout later down the line. 2 minutes remaining here on the clock, and with little time to strike, I think Providence really needs to show up, or they're going to get shown off the field here and sent into game number 3.
Providence, they know that at least one mistake kind of got them into that motion. That's going to go to the outside. Very fortuitous for them that they went in and out. That's a double commit, and it leaves only one to go. Oxen on an island, and they actually call in the lineman play. Soft flick, and it goes far too wide. A chance for Providence to finally get us all tied up. West Mech had given them that moment, and if there's anything that maybe a team that hasn't been able to find at least super just hyper octane offense is that if you can just play simple fundamental defense, you can make it frustrating for anyone to have to play.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the strongest part of this game, or the hardest part of this game, may be playing a consistent defense. We see a lot of teams struggle. There will be a lot of teams that I call strikers, where they want to score over and over and over, and often those teams won't have a a very good offense or defense. Excuse me. They won't have a very good defense, so they need that powerful front-lining offense to make up for that missing space. And you've got to wonder if maybe that's what Providence was kind of secretly trying to pull off, and now they're getting pulled away from that play.
We could have a game 4 minimum situation if we do not get Providence to tie things up. West Mech has been holding on tight, and for dear life, they're trying to encroach on some of these zones, knowing that they need to find some of these 1-2 passing connections up to the top level. That's going to be failed sends, looking to get a setup, and instead they have to rely on Tan Banana. That's going to go to the backboard, but they again don't get anything on target. 30 seconds approaching. Failed sends is getting bonked in the face. Tan Banana wants to go right back to work. They're going to have it from the sidewall, looking for the dunk down, but no, this defense won't go away.
The defense just staying completely indestructible here. 13 seconds remaining. West Mech, like I said earlier, if they're going to win, it's going to be by just a single point. And now they are 9 seconds away from being able to do just that. A beautiful pass in the center field is going to get knocked away once again with only 5 seconds remaining. If the ball touches the ground in these next 2 seconds, that will be the end of game. It goes up on the 1. Gecko has ball control. There's nobody there to catch it. And just frames away, West Mech is going to be able to walk away with a victory there in game number 2 and tie the series up 1-1.
I don't know exactly what the name of it is, but what's your bet that West Mech's mascot is a falcon? It looks so close.
It definitely looks falcon. I love falcons. My favorite animal is the peregrine falcon. It definitely looks falcon. It's giving falcon. If it's not a falcon, it's a hawk. Those are kind of the two things. But falcons typically have those kind of longer eagle-like beaks where they kind of come down a little bit into a cone, and I think that is what that's doing. My vision is quite poor, to be honest. So, but ideally, it's a hawk. I love hawks or falcons. I moved.
It's okay. You okay? Which one are you going for, falcon or hawk?
I'm trying to say falcon. I love falcons.
Okay. Well, it is a hawk. I just found out.
You set me up.
You've been duped.
I've been duped. I know nothing about hawks or falcons.
The only thing I knew about falcon is whenever Tobias turned into one, then never turned back. So shout out to my Animorphs readers. But 4 shots.
Oh my God, you're right. That did happen. That's crazy. What a reference,
hawk, baby.
What a reference.
Well, 2 goals acquired, both by Oxen here for the side of West Mech, and had all 4 shots for the Hawks. And so now, with 10 shots out of Providence, the defense simply stood up. 7 of them finding a connection, only letting 1 bleed through. And honestly, us going to game number 4 is really impressive, considering what this started with 5 up. Now we go to even in the series.
That's the thing that we see very often. There's that phrase that I don't use lightly, running the sprint instead of the marathon. We've seen this many times before, where a team will come in, they'll be hyper-aggressive early, they'll go in for some action out the gate, and unfortunately, sometimes that comes back to bite them, and they aren't able to keep that level of play throughout the latter half of the series. We're waiting to see if this is going to be what we're expecting from Providence. Did they overextend in that first game, or are they going to be able to clutch back in this third? Was losing game number 2 just kind of a fluke?
I feel it was a little bit flukish. It was a couple of defensive miscues.
I can agree.
Because there was definitely one that was a double commit, and you see the way they can connect just like this Gecko off of the pass off, I believe. Yes, this was Tan Banana, who was responsible for the opening goals in game number 1. And then knowing where that zone is and just shooting to the gap, Apollo just caught in that rotation, trying to drive back into net. And Providence has been able to score first. It's just simply West Mech that has to find a faster way to respond.
Yeah, we're looking for that response time to be improved one way or another. West Mech wants to find you, and they want to get you out of this series. 40 seconds gone already, and Providence is going to be in the lead with a pretty comfortable situation to be a part of. Going to be able to find that 1-goal lead, but you don't really feel comfort until we're looking at 2 points, 3 points, 4 points in the lead.
Ooh, a nice second touch.
Beautiful.
Failed sins.
Beautiful.
I mean, that was so fluid. That was as hot as melted butter, and I need plenty of that on my popcorn. A great continuation, as that sidewall can be so precocious as well. It often can give you a bad bounce, but knowing the pace of it, great chase down, and they knew that both defenders, no one was on that backboard defense, and that is what gave them that free look, looking for a third, but they will lose the joust.
A minute gone already. Providence going to find that 2-point advantage. Like I said, you're going to start feeling comfortable around that 2 to 4 lead or point lead. But West Mech, they found 2 points in the last game, so you know that this team is capable. You want to try and make sure that you put them down far enough that they're not going to be able to dig themselves out of that hole. And statistically, Providence only needs to find 3 to do that, because we've yet to see West Mech score that many points.
It's been an unreachable number, and you've gotten just enough to make it happen. Oh, they had a defender deep in the net, but Tam Banana put far too much pace on this shot for it to actually be saved. And unfortunately for Oxen, who did score the only 2 goals that we've seen West Mech Hawks be able to acquire, they bounced it a bit too forcefully off of sidewall, and that gave a free read to Tan Banana. And that's 3 goals, making a 4th in just a little over 90 seconds.
4 goals in 90 seconds. So that second game really might have been a fluke. We're already 4 goals deep. We're definitely shooting for the high score of what we see. 6 is the highest we've seen today from a single team. So Providence definitely going to try and make that happen. Probably even go well over with the rate of scoring that we're seeing thus far.
Providence is one of those kind of perennial teams that's been around since the inception of this STEM-based competition, especially CMS just has a lot of heavy hitters that have been able to really develop their programs in a big way, looking for the putback, try to be able to chase it down to the back angle, but no, it is just nonstop here out of Providence. They've not been able to get into that top 4, and sometimes have been lacking when it came to the top 8. You know that this is a squad that wants to find success going towards regionals if they can qualify from out of conference, and they obviously have some level of success and some good chemistry between these players, but you have to also win your games handedly, well, especially the ones you're supposed to, and so far it's looking pretty good here in game 3 to stabilize. They've matched now with 2:43 left, Septilence, what they did in game 1.
Oh my goodness. I am flabbergasted. I am astounded. I am bamboozled. I don't even know what other synonyms to use. I am blown away by a 5-0 lead, not even halfway into this third game. Now you're going to wonder, how did Providence even lose game 2? They can just do this? Like, what had happened? Were they playing with their eyes closed? It's hard to tell, but right now this team, they are just dominating the battlefield. Goal after goal, shot after shot, demo after demo. West Mech just being dismantled on this broadcast.
Shocked, stupefied,
Ooh, I love
staggered,
stupefied.
Startled, nonplussed, amazed, failed sends, continues to do all those things and more. And you have a kind of a soft triple commit because there was a chase out by Asura, and then the putback shot had far too much velocity to be capable of being caught up to. So Providence does match our most on the day. Do you wonder if they're going to try and improve upon it just for the simple sake of bragging rights?
Just for the ha-has, right? I mean, just for the ha-ha funnies, you might as well keep going and put yourself in a scenario to score as many points as possible, just like that. New high score, Providence. They hit the 7th point on the board here, 7-0, 2 minutes remaining. This team just having an absolute field day with it.
Just like my, just like my favorite movie, Grandma's House. What's high score mean? Did I break it? What's that mean?
That's funny. That's got to be how Providence feels, because they are breaking some records here, at least on stream.
2 minutes ago, Providence have done enough work to really fulfill not just this game, but kind of the next game, if you're able to do our funny format concept and really run away with the amount of goals between game after game. But less than 2 minutes to go, West Mech, they're going to have to erase this one. They were able to punish the Panthers whenever they messed up defensively. That has been absolutely cleaned up. Something needs to break. They need to put them under pressure, and they need to force them to make those mistakes. But they also have to develop their own offense just as much.
You got to wonder if Providence just hit that, all right, lock in. And they just all lean forward and immediately kind of like completely just start to play this game apart. I don't know if there was a little bit of hubris or overconfidence, or game 2 really just slipped away from them. But game 3 clearly just in their clutches. 7 points on the board, 70 seconds left. We need 1 goal per 10 seconds from West Mech to tie us up.
Fast Math is going to be running away from them as well, especially because Fail Sins is going to be having a stellar amount of air dribble control. They're going to trust in their teammates to be able to kind of just recoil and send it right back upfield. I don't think that Providence is going to be at all worried about what comes next, especially because, I mean, you put your team under, or your opponent under, a mountain of goals. We're not going for the funny haha meme. We already did the let's get as many as we can. Why not Brazil?
Oh, why not Brazil? Set it up for greatness. Completely just see if we're going to be able to find that opportunity. But I'm really waiting to see if Providence is going to even let West Mech kind of get that false hope, that single sign of opportunity, because right now this team, they are just not pulling a single punch.
20 seconds to go. Rounding the corner, Providence Panthers. In the 2 games that they've shut out the West Mech Hawks, they've outscored them 12-0. One game that they lost by 1 point. So it has been feast and famine, and this one has been overeating, some might say. They find 8 with 4 seconds to go.
This is a full binge of points here in favor of Providence. They're looking for an opportunity, but I'm just not sure they're going to be able to find one quite where they're looking for West Mech. 4 seconds left, 8 points on the board. This team just absolutely dominating the battlefield thus far. And with 4 seconds left, 8 points on the board, I mean, that's 2 goals per second. I think obviously we're pretty out of the realm of possibility here. Providence puts themselves on series point. Let's see if they're going to be able to pull it out here in game number 4.
I think that a Rocket League caster at one point at the highest level said that once you get to less than 6 seconds per goal necessary to score, it's pretty much done and dusted. Nothing on the side of the Hawks for West Mech Providence. Well, you can see nearly double hat trick for Gecko, and a majority, a high 75% of them in team participation, as 3 were assisted by both failed sins as well as Tan Banana with 15 shots, 15 between everyone to 4. I'm pretty sure they left West Mech just on a trail tour of their own back half.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, that is just an unbelievably dominant lineup. We're seeing a little bit of action from Providence there. They're showing that they are definitely not a team to be reckoned with, and with a lot of progress to be made, a lot of value to be found there in that game number 3. Let's see if game 4 ends in Providence's favor all the same.
Have to force Providence to create mistakes, something that they are not characteristically going to do often unless you are challenging early. And the passing play, I mean, you bring out the battle bus.
Battle bus!
Oh, man. It's a battle bus with a crown, by the way. So kings of the court they are.
This is not a drill. The battle bus has entered the battlefield. For those that don't know, Fortnite is my favorite game in the whole world. I love Fortnite, and I'm excited to see some battle bus action. Not only the battle bus being played, but the battle bus being played pretty darn well. 1 goal almost immediately going to be turned into 2, but unfortunately the goal is just not going to be able to find purchase quite yet, and now 30 seconds have already come and gone. At this point, last game, correct me if I'm wrong, we were already up 3-0?
Somewhat relatively, yeah. I think it was about at least 2, and the third was being worked on. A big save as well. I need to know, what is your most necessary punishment for anyone that does not thank the bus driver? What must happen to those players?
My friends and I, if you forget to thank the bus driver, you have to spend the entire game using common loot. That's like an in-house rule we have, that if you don't thank the bus driver and somebody notices, you have to spend the rest of the game using common loot, and I think that's hilarious. So
it's like playing Uno, but you just have to deal with the nonsense. Oh wow, that hurts.
You actually just gave me an idea that we should instill a rule that if someone calls you out but you did thank the bus driver, that they should have to use common loot. Because you said Uno rules, and I'm like,
yeah,
draw
that's
4.
Actually, yeah, okay, that's actually a beautiful way. So okay, all right, it could either be common or what would be the worst kind of weapon to have to use Fortnite?
Oh, like an SMG, like your pickaxe, like no weapon at all. Like that's we've tried to do that before, like where one of us has no weapons, but it's just too hard. You need that
grenades only.
Yeah, you need that. We had one where we were carrying meds only the whole game. Like it's a whole thing. But speaking of whole things, Davion from West Mech there gonna be able to find their first goal and tie us up, which that in itself, that's gonna be a whole thing for this series.
It really will be. And Davion actually had to bump a teammate out of the way, and that was a great rush down, considering that most of Providence actually rushed over into the corner. So that's a random look that we're getting out of West Mech. Providence, it was difficult for them to get anything from away from the defense, and now West Mech has been able to tie us up. We go from Fortnite memes and concepts now into real dreams that could turn into even bigger manifesting hopes and on the horizon.
Listen, maybe all we had to do was talk about Fortnite. Remind them it's only that one player at the end of the game. That victory royale only belongs to one of these teams. And right now, West Mech, they are down, but they are certainly not out. They're winning statistically every other game so far. So you've got to give them a little bit of credit for that performance. And I'm hoping they're going to be able to try so once again here in game 4, but it's failed since with, what was that? Was that the Scarab? With the Scarab, Providence is going to be able to find a goal here. So 2-1 on the board, but 80% of the game, 60% of the game left to be played with 3 minutes remaining.
The Scarab accidental pit maneuver onto itself, and then they half flipped into a dunk of the top 90. That's a very failed Sins way to score. Yeah, just too good, especially in a Scarab. But West Mech has been able to at least get one at random. Fantastic challenge, trying to rush it down, looking for the double. The putback shot, oh, it goes from post to post. Not the way you want to see it.
Not how you want to see it at all. 2:30 on the clock, half the game gone. Nothing going to be found in that goal off of a very close shot, but close. Only going to count in horseshoes and hand grenades, and none of that here in Rocket League. A great tap in is going to be found away by a beautiful bump. The ball loses all momentum. It's going to be Oxen who goes to find a beautiful coast-to-coast play. Battle Bus Tan Banana on the catch. Gonna go for a turnaround shot. Takes the lineup, the rainbow trail behind him. In off the wall, but double defense from West Mech keeps it alive. Until, no, beautiful.
Woo, Oh, what a takeaway. That's going to be a demo onto failed sends, and that was actually an opportunity for West Mech to try and get this one all tied up. They have another one. They gave up on the play. Oh, no. Yeah, I believe that was Apollo that turned off. They thought they had lost it from the near side post. It's going to be another attempt. Gecko on the challenge. It goes to the crossbar. There's been looks here, Septilence. I mean, West Mech has had at least a time or two where they could have tied it, maybe even get themselves a lead, but they just kind of give up because they haven't been able to really eat as often as Providence has.
Yeah, West Mech, I think, playing a pretty cautious game, all things considered, going for kind of the surgical, calculated, guaranteed shots versus on the other side, we'll be seeing something a little bit faster from Providence. They're creating their opportunities. They're not waiting for them. And it's that kind of difference that can separate a good team from a great one. Providence really doing a great job opening windows, finding demolitions and bumps to score, and put themselves in a winning position with only 70 seconds left here in game number 4. Providence in a very comfortable position to look for a win. They get bumped away at a pivotal moment, but still in the lead, so you can't be that mad about it.
That was a very risky back pass directly at your own net to a goalie, and then the challenge was coming through. Providence thought that they maybe would be able to find an insurance goal in that same stride, but with 50 seconds to go, it's still just a 1-goal venture. That's Davion, who has the lone score here, at least in game number 4 for West Mech, as they're on match point for the side of the Panthers, approaching that half-minute to go. Failed sends, tracking it, but it's going to be from the outside. Instead, it's by Gecko, and it goes to the opposite post. A single clear, a good challenge, and West Mech may be able to bring it up. That's going to be a big fake, but nothing's fake in Oxen.
Nothing's fake in Oxen out. We've got 20 seconds left. Can West Mech force an overtime in what could be the end of the series? Because if they don't, Hail Monkey Man, I hate to say it, but they will be eliminated here out of today's series. Providence will be able to win with a 3-0 fashion, but now it's going to be a 2-2 on the board. 12 seconds remaining, and Providence, all of a sudden, got to lock right back in.
Davion has 100% goal participation now off of that assist over to Oxen as they force it through. 12 seconds to go. Do we end with a tide turner here in regulation? Maybe by West Mech. See if the Hawks can be able to fly high. Providence, they just have to be able to strike one more time, and this entire thing is done and dusted in the paperwork. That goes to the bar. What? Astra Apollo! We force a game 5.
We are going all the way to game number 5. A beautiful performance from West Mech. Astra Apollo, first time we've seen that goal come through, and all of a sudden we're staring a game 5 in the face. We're going to run it all the way back down. This is going to be it. This is all the marbles.
Oh, man. You wouldn't think this at all. Okay. Game 1, or rather game 2 and game 4 now.
Every other game? What did I say?
1 point dubs. So it was 5-0, then it was 8-0. So we've been extending by 3. Do we see an 11-0?
I mean, with the patterns we've seen thus far, I mean, it's proving its own point. West Mech has won every other game. Providence has been up by 3 every single time they've gone up. So there's an opportunity here, or up by 2. What did I don't know, numbers. There is a big opportunity here for West Mech to really sneak out a victory. Because I feel like even with West Mech winning that game and the one prior to that, it really always felt like Providence was kind of in ball control. It felt like it was their game to control. And now you've got to wonder if they're going to be showing up here in this 5th game, or if West Mech's slow and steady play style can win them the race.
It lulls you to sleep. It really creates this moment of like, all right, are we still playing at the same pace into the same game? Davion actually kind of runs it away, and that's going to be a fantastic follow-up by Tan Banana. That's actually the fastest score that we've seen in all these games. The fastest ones always belonging to Providence. What a fantastic lift to get it beyond Oxen.
14 seconds and Providence is already in the lead. This is exactly what we saw back in game number 3. The second they lose, they just lock in. Full throttle boosters on the board.
20 seconds to go. Oxen has been involved in a ton of the offense existing for West Mech. And if you're West Mech, you can't have this be a rarity, because Providence obviously knows how to bury this defense and multiple thereof into uncomfortable moments. Oxen will get it away. They're going to have to rely at least on one more. I believe that was Gecko that brought it in. Oh, that ends up going to the opposite side post, and Tan Banana doing hot work, bringing in the big old tornado, and that's going to be an extension of this lead as well.
A big lead on the board is colossal for Providence. They want to just make the series happen and get this over with as quickly as possible. Even they are excited to watch our 4th and final series of the day, so they want to wrap this one up in the blink of an eye. It's going to be a close series off rip, and that is a kickoff goal for Gecko. 45 seconds in. We are looking at 1 goal per 15 seconds from Providence already.
What's the fast math? Okay, so there's 4 sets of that. So that means with 5 minutes, we got 20 goals, right?
Jeez, I don't know. Don't ask me a math question. I don't know. I'm not confident off stream, let alone on stream. I don't have a clue.
Well, we're on pace for a lot of goals at minimum, and Panthers have been at the beneficiaries of the majority, the Lions' share, or the Panthers' share, if you really can put it up to that. Yeah, cat fight, if you will, but only one cat, and this is more of a Tweety Bird and Sylvester, not Stallone. But,
I also almost said Stallone. That is so funny. We are so
I
Rocky
almost said
Pill.
every time I think of Sylvester.
There's only one Stallone, right? Only one Rocky, right? I mean, come on, it's Sylvester Stallone. You know, it all falls apart.
It does. And then so far it's been a boxing match between me and my mouth because I just want to be able to call out all of the highlights that we get, and there's a plentiful amount of them. Tan Banana, they will force this one through. It was a try at some defense. Look at this heavy traffic for West Mac.
West Mac, they are definitely in an awkward spot. You know, 3 was that not a triple commit into goal? I mean, all 3 of them there on the defense. They bounce it away just barely, and then blink and you miss it. It gets knocked to the wayside once more, and all of it falls pointless for West Mac. Literally pointless. Providence now up by 4. 90 seconds have come and gone, and West Mac's just desperate to find anything to stop this bleeding.
It was a double triple as well because it all triple committed into the same zone, and then off of the second shot, a triple commit to stop it all the way. So the one thing that we haven't had is a response from some of these blowouts. West Mech, they obviously slow down the every other game, but then when it comes to actually getting it through a 4-0 or more situation, they haven't gotten a goal to push back the Panthers, and that's the kind of response that would really galvanize them to maybe slow them down.
Yeah, I think you're definitely on something there. You're going to have to going for an opportunity of galvanization, if you will. And right now, I just don't get the vibe we're really feeling it. A goal out from Failed Sins, 5th one on the board. We're already getting to a tough scenario for West Mac. This is just really a dominant leading man performance from Providence, who definitely want to win Game 5 in quick fashion.
That was a heck of a flip reset delay to gather your flip, get it around one defender, and then extend it laterally, who then Failed Sins had the flip cancel to get so much extra power into that shot. So the midway mark, and I was talking about how, we've extended by 3. It kind of feels like that could happen, a handoff and a putback and a 6th goal right as we pass over just a second more. Septilence. Math is really mathing right now.
12 possible goals if they're scoring 6 per 2.5 minutes, or 5 in a really, 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 really close, almost 6 goal, because they actually
stops at the goal line.
1 second short. So if we get that 12th goal ending at the goal line, I predicted it, all part of the plan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm here for it. I think that I'm more in the lottery for the 11th, but that'll be our sole rivalry tonight.
Perfect.
Maybe, possibly. All right, cool. Math is fun, kids, and you see now the Panthers really kind of sticking on their defense. They're sending one after the other. I feel like they've done obviously the majority of the work. This is a 6-0 that we got to see a little bit ago, and obviously when you get to this position, it's really tough to stop anything. My goodness, Failed Sins on this dunk.
That was a lethal one. We use the phrase nail in the coffin pretty often, but that really is kind of that slam moment of, hey, check this out. Bang, take you out of the way, immediately ruin your day, and try to walk away with a victory.
4 goals to go for my prediction. 5 for Septilences.
The correct prediction.
The correct prediction, quote unquote.
Rumor has it.
Rumor. The Panthers. Who do you love more? We'll be able to find out in just a little bit. 100 seconds remaining, and we'll end up going the direction of extra math or just crazy ideas. As West Mech, at this point, you want 1 goal.
I don't think
just want to be able to put up the fight.
Sane idea. I think. Do they still count as crazy ideas if it's just my normal idea? Is that?
I mean, if it's all sane, well, if it's all crazy, it's like if all rectangles are squares, or no, opposite.
If everybody's super, no one will be.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. I wish I was still super though.
No, right. No, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I never understood that part of the movie, but that's a different discussion. Anyway, 67 seconds left on the clock here for Providence. They are going to be up 7-0. This game just about over. We're already rapidly approaching that 6 seconds per goal scenario. It was still a full minute on the clock, so we're about 10 seconds per goal right now, and that is going to get even smaller as Gecko accidentally scores.
They get one touch, and then all the defenders disperse as they get it between two, and they had actually gone for boost. That is an unfortunate bit of timing. Come back just in time to see themselves get dunked in the stripes. 8-0. This matches the greatest differential that we've seen on broadcast, which was also by the Providence Panthers against Westmeck in this series. Looking at how this has gone to Game 5, Septulence, does it feel flukish for those previous couple of games?
100%. I said it both times. Yeah.
100%.
I think it is just a flukish scenario to be in. I think they just played a little bit off. I don't know if it was kind of like an overzealousness or an overconfidence in play, but whatever it was, they learned from it once. It happened again, and by golly, I mean, proof in the pudding, they've learned from it that second time as well.
But you can always at least hang your hat that you took it to game number 5. You're gonna take whatever war room film that you can have and simply say, all right, well, we forced them to at least play with us for a long time, and it was made even longer considering the amount of goals. A 9th one will go rolling through.
Oh!
No, they're gonna park the bus.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Gonna be that 8th point on the board now. Looking mighty fine here. 3 seconds left on the clock, and I think we are gonna be wrapping up pretty darn soon here with an 8-0 victory on the board for our friends Providence. A beautiful performance, all things considered, and they are looking to come out strong. That is going to be a tough one, Hail Monkey Man, but it is a win for Providence regardless.
A dub is a dub, no matter how you find it. And apparently Providence found it in big ways in the games that they outscored and shut out West Mech. It was a 21-0 differential. In the 2 games they lost, it was simply by 1. So 15 shots to 3, quintupling their total of offensive output. I say that's a good day at the office, but we have one more match just on the horizon to be able to really kind of sew this one up. Final thoughts before we go to a short break and really get this one set up for the finale.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've had 2 Game 5s today. We had a 3-1 in the middle as well. So we've had a lot of close series, a lot closer than we got last week. And I'm hoping the finale, game number 4, series number 4, maybe goes to Game 5 as well. Either way, we'll be right back with that series in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome everyone to the VESL Week 3 Showcase. I'm Hail Monkey Man in the booth alongside Septilence as we have one more of our four of the night to complete everything that we've seen through at least conference play before the big playoffs going into next week. It's another CMS conference showdown. This one between the Palisade Pumas and the North Mecklen Vikings.
A lot of
Mecklenburg,
cats in North Carolina. What's
That's a
up
lot.
with that? Is that?
I don't know.
What's up with the amount of cats? Is it because of the football team?
It has to be. And remember, spay and neuter, everyone. There's a lot of wildcats.
Yeah, and to be fair, like my high school was named after like a football team, but not one from my home state. So that was also confusing, but that's a whole different thing. It looks like we're gonna be getting Harding versus Palisades, so we were we were a little bit misinformation, but that's okay because Palisades are gonna be coming in. We know this team pretty darn well, a pretty impressive roster needs. I mean, it's that boy CJ and Steven versus Hellboy, King Z, and Logic.
I think they're the Rams. I can't. Yeah,
That's some kind of goat for sure. Some kind of.
Well, I looked at it
quadrupedal.
backwards, and it looked like a bull carrying like a big slab of ham on its back.
That too.
So don't look at it in reverse. That's some weird, like symbolism right there. Zummy comes through and buries us at least 60,000 leagues under the sea. That's I think deeper than the Mariana Trench, but a massive demo originally acquired. I think that was Dat Boy or Steven, one of them. But either way, Palisade Pumas on top.
Palisades Pumas coming in here. It's going to be 1 point on the board for them. Just under a minute taken off the board, so a pretty big value found. It's that boy CJ looking for an opportunity to strike, but it goes off to the side here. Hellboy is going to look for a strike of their own, and I'm just going to spend the rest of this wondering if that is in reference to the character Hellboy, or if that is instead something different. I'm just going to assume it's the character for my own entertainment, but regardless, we need to see a hell of a performance from him. Logic able to find a goal, and we're tied up 1-1 on the board. A minute gone, the game tied up again.
There's actually a whole TikTok by that name, by the way. I just Googled that.
Wait,
that
not
is...
like the guy, though?
No, well, no, it is in reference to the guy.
Oh, okay,
but
cool.
That username right there is TikTok.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
We're just going to start exposing these players' social
Yeah.
medias live on broadcast. We're going to start listing them off.
Look, they're already public. It's not like it's there.
Hey,
You know,
I don't think you were here last week. Last week, somebody's name was literally like, it said like YouTube and then their YouTube channel. So they're doing it themselves at this point.
They got to get famous somehow, right?
I hear that.
If you get paid an exposure, it's got to be where people actually click the link. Zummy, looking for the second follow-up. That's going to be a bouncer, and it does leak its way through. Straight up Steven.
Oh, that an up and over shot past one teammate and a defender on top of that. I mean, an unlucky scenario to be in, but a valuable one.
All right, so the Palisade Pumas, they strike back, and this one is looking to be a much more balanced venture so far. We've had some lopsided fistfights. We've had some game fives that were real, game fives that were not, and now we're seeing this just go tit for tat. Logic is bringing it home.
Logic really just living up to the namesake. A pretty logistical play style there. Says, hey, logistically, if we don't lose if it's tied, and they do just that. They find themselves tied up. We're going to have 3-1-6 on the clock, so over 60% of the game still left to be played. Tied up 2-2. The next goal is going to be the team taking the lead, and with just over half the game remaining, a huge opportunity for one of these teams to really start running away with the lead is just around the corner.
I'm looking for kind of some veterans of this squad. I believe that CJ is one of the few that I kind of remember from Palisades, and then from the side of Harding, I haven't seen too much of them. I believe I remember seeing a lot of Logic. So seeing how these programs have also kept to their kind of main varsity squads and how they've really been able to develop them since the early days and now into this most recent season of VESL, that's really cool to see how it has kind of kept rock steady and have an anchor with them. Harding trying to anchor down into defense. So far, Palisades have held, well, at least 1 point leads. They haven't been able to build upon it. Harding has been in chase. I want to see if counterplay may be able to give them a chance, but instead, no. It's again.
Whoa! Oh my God.
They got it out.
That was the... Okay, so for those that don't know, the ball has to 100% cross the goal line. That's why we didn't see a goal right there. That was probably 98 or 99% across the goal line. and it got knocked out of the way. Beautiful. It's that boy CJ, finds a goal of his own, puts the team right back up on the board, and with 2 minutes remaining on the clock, this is a big, big opportunity for our friends Palisades to turn things around.
This is where comms need to come up, though, because that was a savable touch, and then you have a double commit OG in the other direction. After all the cool factor of getting that dig and then keeping that from going through at 99%.
What did it cost?
Yeah, everything. At least. That boy CJ trying to find another one. Palisades, they've seen Harding come up with immediate responses to some of this offense. Need to see if they can be able to really keep them planted back. No one crashing the gate on that setup from Zummy, though.
Oh, CJ just barely goes up and over, not able to find it. But Steven, oh! Again, so close yet so far away. I thought that was a guaranteed goal, but Harding playing a deep goal defense is going to work in their favor. 90 seconds remain, still down by 1 goal, but at this point it should be 2 minimum. A beautiful defense from Harding so far, easily the most impressive thing about this roster.
The 80 seconds approaching, though. It's got to be a defense that begets the offense. Logic, they had a chance. They actually bulldozed and gave their teammates at least a look. This goes from post to post. It's gonna be a back angle shot. What a shot by Hellboy as they just punch it on in, and they bring us right back to an even game.
Wow, golly, we are in a high-scoring affair across both sides. These teams really just not pulling their punches, trying to keep themselves in the mix of things and being able to do so in spades. 3-3 on the board, 1-1-1. Adds up to 3, by the way, on the clock. A beautiful opportunity here for either of these teams to strike. Harding takes it in, but it's not going to be able to go out quite yet. That's got to be a goal, right? And surely it is. CJ, immediate 4th goal for Palisades.
This is unfortunate for Harding because this is just a long bomb. You see King Z having to sit because Steven was going to Goomba stomp them regardless, and the lone defender then became kind of lifeless. So again, Palisade Pumas, they find this lead. How long can they hold it for? Harding has been able to at least get a few tries at it. They've been able to bring it back to a tie. Dat boy CJ looking to at least threaten into the box, and Hellboy brings it back upfield. I need to see Hellboy's I need to see that goal explosion again. Very comic book worthy.
Yes, I gotta love a comic, you know, very Hellboy-esque. I'm just gonna convince myself it's all about the character, because to me it always is. But right now we are looking to see if Hellboy can put another point on the board that Harding really needs. They're gonna be down by 1 here at the end of game 1, unless they put something up and running here in the next 30 seconds.
Oh. That's a giveaway, though. Dat boy CJ is going to go to the backboard, and actually Hellboy sets it up for the sideways angle, so it's not exactly easy. Zombie, and that's going to be, for the first time in this game, a 2-goal lead. Steven might have just put this one on ice here, Septilence.
Very likely could have this game on ice. I mean, 1 goal per 10 seconds here. We're rapidly approaching that 6 seconds referenced earlier, and now I think Palisades got to be feeling confident about their odds of success here at the end of game number 1, which is within 2 games away from closing out our final series of the night.
Bank off the backboard. You're going to try and doink it the other way. It's going to go lateral instead, and Harding is suddenly in a bad situation. 9 goals acquired. This one, it's going to look lopsided at the end term because it's 6-3 right now, but this one was very back and forth for a long time. But you just always felt like because Palisades, they either were tied or had the lead, it was just a matter of time before they broke out.
You know, 6'3", my real life height. Don't check, just believe me. 6'3" on the board, 10 seconds remaining, and now Palisades finding themselves in a possible winnable position here, all but guaranteed at this point, even with an additional goal going in for Harding. Palisades still going to be up by 2, and that is a beautiful way to close out game number 1 as Hellboy just falls shy of the crossbar, and it'll be Palisades with the game 1 victory.
In case you guys don't actually believe Septilence, that dude is tall.
I'm not 6'3", though. I'll
He's
come
so
clean.
tall.
I'll come clean.
Okay?
I'm not 6'3". I'm 6'2.99". You call me. I'm sorry.
According to Tinder rules, he's the only man between us.
Real. So real, actually. I lied again, guys. I'm 6'6". I'm huge.
Just gigantic.
All part of the plan.
I look across the casterverse of all the people I've met, and I'm like, man, y'all are just tall. What is this? Like, I thought I was okay. I thought I was above average American, 5'11", shout out. But no, everyone's like 6'1" plus.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Something about people
anymore.
in esports. Like, I've been to events where, like, I'm not, okay, spoiler alert for our viewers, I'm actually only 6'1", but I've been to events where, like, I'm the shortest caster, and I'm like, wow, that is insane. Like, I'm fully 6'1". Like, that is a very reasonable height to be, and I have been on broadcast where I'm shorter than all of my co-casters, and it's like, how does that, what is going on that we're all this tall?
Yeah, and the whole thing about parents are like, oh, if you do video games, you're gonna be fat, you're gonna
No,
you're gonna be out
apparently
of
you're
shape.
gonna be weirdly
No,
above height.
you're gonna be above height, and a lot of dudes are actually kind of yoked.
True.
Like I was lied to for so long,
Real.
for a long time. But regardless, we digress. Game number 1 goes over to the Pumas, and it was a breakout performance. It was Harding that was always playing catch up, but never was able to really truly hold or be able to hold down the Pumas before they were able to obtain that lead. Dat boy CJ, they come away with a hat trick of the 6 goals and 8 of the 13 shots to just the 5. So efficiency to Harding, as they did have 5 shots, but looks like they're going to be resetting this lobby as we're going to go into game number 2 in just a second.
Yeah, looks like we're going to be getting ready in just a moment here. A bit of a lobby disconnect. Maybe it was a DC, or no, that's the same thing. Maybe it was a ping issue is what I was trying to say. They might be trying to relocate the lobby, but whatever it is, hi, everybody. We're back.
Hello. We go into our second game here in just a moment for our final showcase of the day. In case that you guys haven't done it, well, first off, look just a little bit below. All those cool VESL GG things are all, in fact, really live and loud. You can be able to check out all the socials. You can hit it on Twitter or X, I guess, if we want to go by that. Go to YouTube. You're probably watching it here right now, and there's a ton of showcases that are all online. So lots of content to see a lot of talented students. And Sethlins, you and I got a sample size from most recent regionals and states. There's a very dedicated base of not just the students, but the parents that come out to really support a lot of these players.
Yeah, and that's my favorite part typically, is those parents that are so loud and proud, so excited, because that is something that so many students, yearn for, and that are excited to be there with the parents that are like, yeah, I have no clue what's going on, but I wanted to be supportive. Oh, fastest way to my heart, man. Let me tell you, I love it every single time. I love the family support. I love people that come out to support their players and their students, whatever it may be. And you're absolutely correct that VESL in particular, one of the loudest crowds I've had the chance to work with at a live event before. That was a super cool experience as well.
Yeah, and also just, the blind dedication by a parent to just support their child.
You love
Do
it.
that with everything. Doesn't have to just be with sports, esports.
So
if they
true.
love to draw, if they love medical stuff, or if they just love being weird, as long as it's not too crazy.
I'm that
support
last
them.
one.
I
just love being weird.
Look, we got stuff on our shelves for a reason. We collect all the things.
I'm
okay?
a collector, man. I got a bunch of different collections back there. A whole bunch of stuff just going crazy. I've also got about 130 Funko Pops not pictured. So that's a whole different thing. I really fell into that when they were popular, but that's some Septilin's lore more than anything else.
Oh, wait. Okay. You know what? We're exposing this. Apparently supporting
so
the parents. The DC was because their mom turned their Wi-Fi off.
Oh, been there, man. Been there.
I wonder if that was on accident or like, get your homework done. Don't be playing these videos.
Yeah, been there for sure.
I hope they know they're competing for the school. Like,
yeah.
Or
it's one of those like mom's trying to watch Netflix and it's taking a while to load. So she's like, oh, just restart the router. And it's like, oh, cool. Thanks, Mom. I definitely wasn't in the middle of something.
Shout out my mom. She's a wonderful person, but she sometimes you just don't make the wisest of decisions. But we're gonna make a short decision here, and we're gonna go to a short break. We're gonna see if everyone can get their Wi-Fi turned on, if we can get this going. And again, more of the VESL Week 3 qualifiers. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, sadly, we will not be having the rest of that matchup. It does end in a forfeiture. Apparently, Wi-Fi and more ends up being the wrong direction for everyone to keep going. So North Mecklenburg, they will take the 0-3 against the Palisade Pumas. It was a great game, number one. It was very tight until that last minute or so there, Septilence. But 6-3 will be the only score that we get to see on the day. Pumas, I guess they scared them off.
Yeah, they scared them off, and unfortunately, it does end our evening a wee bit earlier than we anticipated. But honestly, and I've always been vocal about this with our viewers, I think the forfeit makes more sense than trying to run out with 33% of your team missing. I think that's really hard to do. I think the forfeit makes a lot more sense, and honestly, I'm glad that everybody got to play at least a little bit before the Wi-Fi did end up going down. But because it did, that does unfortunately bring tonight to a close, as Hail Monkey Man said. So we want to thank everybody for watching, all the teams for coming out, and our production team in the back line. We love each and every one of you guys. Check your posture, drink some water, don't forget to love each other, and go watch some Fortnite on the main VESL channel over on Twitch. We'll see you back here next time. Thanks again for watching.